you getting yourself ready for our show?
Well, breaking news here. Jigs and Bigs fan. Our guest this week, Cupcake Coley. She just hooked us up with an answer to one of our interview questions that I neglected to give you. El Pollo Loco is apparently her favorite chicken joint because it's healthy. Good for you, Coley. Good for you. Guys, it's Bobby Roast Beef. We have an amazing show lined up this week. 2001 has gone the way of the dodo. It's out. It's get the hell out of here with that 2001 shit. We are here. It's 2002. Get used to it. It's going to be great. We have an amazing show lined up today. Your boy did some miraculous stuff this week. We came down to the wire, but an act of greatness did, in fact, occur on the water. So we'll get to the details with all that stuff, guys. Hope you had a great New Year. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. We've got some giveaway information for you guys. You're going to want to hear about that. That giveaway we mentioned in the last week's show with Lachwood Fishing, we've got the winner. Exactly who it is, trust me, you're not going to want to miss it. That's a great giveaway, too. We'll go over the prizes and everything. We have all kinds of good stuff. I have a tale of woe to share and a tale of, oddly enough, unbelievable high. A company made good on some shit, and I'm really, really impressed. All that and a whole bunch more, guys. We have an amazing guest this week. We've got Cupcake Coley on Instagram. Coley is a great interview. It's a doozy, too. It's well over an hour long, but lots of great talk there, great stories. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss it, guys. We've got much more good stuff coming up for you on this episode of Jigs and Bigs. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. We will be back, guys, right after this short intermission. Good evening, Sean the Fisherman. How are you this Sunday evening? It's right now we're recording this, and it is the 2nd of January. It's only the second day of 2022. How are you?
I'm good. I was laughing my way through the through your intro there because I tend to put myself on mute nowadays because I have in fact in the past been guilty of fucking up intros from laughing and saying stupid shit. So I know now. I'm a mature grown up in podcasting where I turned my mic to mute, and I think when you listen back and we listen back Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it is, I think you said we have turned the page to 2002. I'm not positive, but I started laughing.
I might have.
Would it be so nice to go from 2021
all the way back then? Oh my God. Could you imagine getting a do-over? Dude, come on.
I mean, look, we have to think now that, I know that was a tumultuous period for me being active duty in the military.
Sure.
Because
that
was the winter between 2001, 2002. I mean, Afghanistan operations had picked up.
Yep.
But I just met my wife. There was a lot of good shit going on, and what the hell? I
don't necessarily mean a do-over from any of that, but that's what I'm saying, man. If I can get 20 years back and get into kayak fishing back then, bring it. That should happen. Can we get Doc Brown on the phone? Let's get a time machine going stat. Come on, chop. I want to go back to the 50s.
We'll get the Avengers. We'll go through the quantum verse. It'll be fine. Now, on to an important thing here. Who the fuck is that in Aruba? Who's doing this Aruba shit?
That's Jay Manning, and that's why I put this up here. Yeah, hey, folks, Happy New Year from Aruba, you lucky son of a bitch. I am so jealous. Although, that transitions us right into this next little point to make. What happened to winter?
I know. It's great.
The low temp last night was 43 degrees.
I've only had to remove snow from my driveway once this year so far. I am not looking that horse in the eye.
Yeah, it's not really a complaint as much as a bizarre observation. I was, a week ago, I was all piss and vinegar about the fact that all my favorite honey holes, all these ponds I fish, in the fall, once the kayak gets packed away, they were all skim ice, all of them, and some of them getting some substantial ice, actually. And I know in the Berkshires up there, too, but I was out fishing. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and transition right into this. I was open water fishing one of my classic honey holes on Friday, on New Year's Eve, and I caught a fish on the last day of the year. That shit doesn't ever happen. I think like the first week of December, if I'd have to go back and double check all my records, but I think the first week of December is about the last week where I seem to really kind of have any sort of real success catching like anything really. And I mean, granted, I had to fish way slow, super finesse, but I didn't catch a fall fish. I was hoping so badly I was going to catch a fall fish. I caught a yellow perch though. And nice little 10-incher, nice little fish. I thought I had a bass actually at first. Was throwing a net around, had thrown actually. Was doing a few different techniques. I started out with a paddle tail on there with a little moving bait. Not getting anything there. I ended up downsizing to as delicate a plastic as I had on me, just like a TRD style, and just dragging it at a snail's pace. It was the most boring fishing I'd ever done. But there was, in this one body of water, we had some ice floating. We had some floaters, going by and doing some icebergs or, whatever you want to call them. And the water was cold as hell, but I couldn't believe I just freaking crushed it. And we have, speaking of weather, we've got Lauren from Three Bells comments here. She says that my mom just texted and said she's supposed to get 6 to 12 inches of snow tomorrow in Maryland. It was 50 there today. Yeah, I think tonight we're supposed to get some like actual seasonal temperatures for the low, but I think the high tomorrow is still supposed to be around 40. It's bananas, man. Not gonna complain. Although Gravy chimes in, says that the high on Monday is supposed to be 20 degrees. Interesting. Hope you guys had a good New Year's. I had a very uneventful New Year's. I had a fun New Year's. Let's get this out of the way. I did a trivia event for New Year's Eve. Every year I do this event I call the Big Fat Speed Quiz of the Year. And I usually do like a look back where it's like this year what I had done was actually I went back to the library of questions I had used all throughout 2021. And anything that kind of like brought up records or like, happenings in any type of arena, whether it be sports or news or, film, any kind of pop culture stuff, all that was tied in. And I did 2 different rounds of that. Whole lot of fun, great stuff. And made sure to add a lot of questions. There were 4 that had to do with Pornhub statistics. Just because I thought that was very interesting. And let's be honest, I've got the numbers. Dude, Sean's done the research, and we've got the data. So why not?
I wasn't there, but I would have excelled.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. One of these questions was, you answered one of these questions before. Because like I said, best of. I went and I took some of the favorites. So some of these players that had these questions before, and if their memory was good enough, it could work for them. But then I did a music round, which this is my favorite music round of the year, because people generally don't listen to the music that came out that year and really like accept it right away. Like it takes some time for people to kind of like get familiar with songs, song titles and things like that. I'm just talking about the main like population of people. I play, 10 songs, from the last 12 months. And even if they're all big singles, you're probably going to name 2 of them at best. So I love this because it's really challenging. So I put this list together and it was really great. Had some fun with it. And then I did a round I really like to do with pictures, celebrity passings. And sadly, on New Year's Eve, exactly 24 hours after I had written the round of celebrity passings, we lost Betty White. Sad cool. Day. Not cool. Not cool. In fact, I just remembered the song we're closing tonight's show with, and it's the Golden Girls theme. That's what we're going to close it out with.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yep. So it was just one of these things where we were, kind of hit me, and I was, I tried to make a joke and make as light of it as I could. I did make a nice display in my live screen for the game, and it said, Betty White, we'll miss you, thanks for the memories, blah, 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 blah. And I put it even on there as the headline. It said, no, she's not in tonight's round. Because it was literally 2 hours before I went to the game. And put that up, got a good laugh, and I even made the joke. I said, you know what? I'm pretty sure her last words were "fuck you, roast beef." You know, yeah. So I couldn't include her.
For our generation, we obviously grew up, and I know I had actually lived with my grandmother for about a year, transitionally in middle school, and I know that she was glued to the damn Golden Girls whenever they were on. I think it was Friday or Saturday nights.
Saturday nights on NBC, baby.
So for our generation, we were definitely, a lot of us were exposed that way to Betty White, but that character she played was just a fucking rube. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, I know who Betty White is. Big deal, right?
Yeah.
But then what really brought her into I think the modern age of filmmaking was her role in Lake Placid. If you guys haven't seen Lake Placid, oh my God, Betty White steals the show. She does not give a fuck in that character. She just wants everyone dead and wants to raise an alligator. The Nile crocodile, excuse me.
Yeah.
So, it's fucking great.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah, she's an amazing actress. She's an amazing comedic talent. Her timing was among the best of the best. Yeah, and someone even commented saying that even her passing was like amazing timing because she passed on the night where more champagne was going to be drunk on any other night of the year, and she could always, think to herself like that was in my honor. You know what I mean? So it's pretty freaking cool.
Yep.
Yeah, like comedic timing like none other. Like she's one of the greats, like unbelievable. And somebody also said that now it's like the Golden Girls are all like together again. Like that's a good way to look at it. We have a friend of the family who actually has he's a huge fan of the Golden Girls and has slipped in the names of the Golden Girls into the names of most of his kids. He can't quite get a Dorothy in there.
That's my grandmother's name.
Yeah, he can't quite get a Dorothy in there, but he's got a Sophia. And that was a big one. And then what is Lily's middle name? Lily's.
You got a Blanche in there?
Blanche.
Did he go by the character names, or did he go by the?
I think he might have gone back and forth. I think Lily's middle name is Rose, so I think that's how he kind of squeezed that one over. I was like, yeah, that's pretty slick, man.
Blanche Devereaux.
What was your New Year's Eve like?
Fucking boring. I have been quarantined for the past week. We've had some Rona run through my house, and gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Corona.
Yep. We found that out. We actually had my wife and my kids actually had a nice trip planned, and that got canceled because they had to take pre-boarding tests because it was out of country, and that got canceled on the day of their flight. So I was supposed to be home alone getting a bunch of housework done all week, and they were supposed to be off vacationing in a fantastic, wonderful land. And neither of those things happened. So we sat around and binged a lot of shit. I have been working very diligently, as you know, of going through our episodes, getting some particular timestamps, which is a lot of fun, realizing what we've done over the past year, but it's a lot of work. And man, we recorded a lot of shit, a lot of good shit, but a lot of shit. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been doing pretty much all week. And here we are. We did get our negative tests all back. Finally, we took tests.
That's good.
We had a good family outing to take a COVID test on Wednesday, and everything came back negative, so we're all good. But
nice.
These are the end times, so this is what we have to do, and just another week lost to the fucking COVID decade, right?
Well, it's so funny, man. I feel so bad for my wife because she took this job working in the school system as a nurse because she was like, she had gotten burnt out from dealing with her previous position. She worked in a long-term care facility. And when this whole thing started, like those were the places that just got beat down with it. It was grueling, like constantly on call and constantly having to do all this other stuff. So she took this position. If there is one thing that my wife is not good at, it's taking time off. And this week, she was like so excited. She's like, I have the Christmas vacation. That's awesome. And there is this with the school department, there's what they call the COVID inbox. And basically what it is, it's where all the reports go. And the nurses basically follow up and gather details and then work with HR to handle, sick pay and all that stuff. And, basically getting tests and, handing out dates when people can come back and how long they have to quarantine, all that kind of stuff. And she's been doing that. Like, it's been like a 30-hour process all this week. And, it was never intended to be that. Like, she's being paid well for it, which is great. But it's like, I told her, I was like, I have to like steal her away and fly her somewhere away from her laptop and any of her other responsibilities. And like, that's just the way it's got to be in order for her to actually take some time off. So you got to be kidding me. She's supposed to start school tomorrow. One of my daughters starts school tomorrow. Another one of mine is actually off for an additional week because of Three Kings Day. That holiday is observed in our school system locally, and I think there's 2 like administration days or something, so they just extended the break. And I think it's actually going to be a good thing for the kids because in whatever the hell they have in their system, they can hang out at home as long as possible and then go back. But it's just, yeah, you're right. And Lauren chimes in. She says, COVID sucks. Yeah, it does suck. It really, really, really sucks. I had a wedding last night that I had to do, New Year's Day, for an amazing couple, Courtney and Adam. Courtney and Adam do not fish, but they are big fans and supporters of Bobby Roast Beef. I appreciate them. So it's possible that they might listen to this. One of their first dates was at my first trivia night that was in Northampton at the Platform Sports Bar, like way back in 2015. And I DJ'd their wedding last night. We had such a good time. Great folks, whole lot of fun. It was great, man. It was absolutely unbelievable. Met a great couple that was handling the photographs. And, when you do these kind of events, Sean, they usually set up like a vendor table where, the vendors will sit, they'll have their dinner and everything else. And that's exactly what I had done. This is why my kids are amazing. Thank you, darling. I have my oldest daughter bringing me beers. Some people train their dogs. I say, bring beers. Thanks, Chloe. So, we do this at all these events, and it's a lot of small talk, mainly like industry talk. And I usually lead with the same couple of questions, like how well do you know the couple? Like, did you know them beforehand? Are you friendly with them? And they said, oh, we met them today. And it's because it was his brother that was originally their photographer, but he had to back out because he has COVID. So he was filling in, doing this with his pregnant wife, shooting the rest of this. Yeah, it was a lot. So, a lot of hand sanitizer, a lot of masks, and, trying not to catch this because I've had it before. And I had the alpha. That was not fun. Yeah, that is a great daughter, Coley. You're damn right. Not a good time, but a great wedding. I mean, we had an amazing time. Again, like such an amazing couple, great bridal party, lots of familiar faces. These are the best types of weddings when it's a referral and I kind of know a good chunk of the guests. Like I know they're going to have a great time, and they did. It was awesome.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Stepping in a puddle and almost tripping on my bags while loading the truck was not great. And shout out to Toyota, by the way. This is the first time I ever put like a bunch of my gear in my truck, and I'm not used to having this amount of room. Like amazing, really, really, really fantastic stuff.
Awesome, man. Glad you like it. I've been driving them for about 10 years, Toyotas.
Delicious.
So, yeah, I love them.
Yeah,
I'm a Toyota guy.
I'm a fan. So I mentioned catching that fish last day of the year. I was amazed and impressed. And I think the last time I was talking about going out and doing some fishing was the time I was hitting the river systems nearby, and I met up with a fellow angler who was launching his kayak, going out to do some fly fishing, like real hardcore. It was 27 degrees that day. It was crazy. Well, something really bad happened that day too, and I neglected to mention what the hell it was. Some of you guys that follow Jigs and Bigs on Instagram, or maybe if you follow my account, you may have seen in pictures. Usually, anytime I'm wearing one of my hats, one of my any type of cap, Hooksett Hoodlums cap, there's usually an angler bullseye that is clipped to the brim of that hat. And what that's for, it's a Bluetooth device that basically marks spots on my angler app that I use on my phone. This is how I track catches. This is how I track the numbers of trips, the baits that I'm using, what's performing best, all kinds of stuff. So what I had done was this. I had this one day, it was 27 degrees. I wasn't wearing one of those hats. I was wearing a skull cap. And I had to clip this button to somewhere else. And I made the judgment call, live and learn, to clip to the pocket of my vest. It was on the outer layer. And it was either while I was trying to access my sling bag or while I was walking down to one of the spots, the button hit something and went flying. It just kind of disappeared, which... it's not fun at all. So I lost that angler bullseye button, no big deal. And I had posted like a little tribute, little rest in peace to that button on my story. And Derek had chimed in and he says, "Oh, we've got a bunch in stock." He's like, "Just let me know." He's like, "We'll get you one." And thank you, Derek. That's awesome. But I want to take a minute to shout out Angler, because Angler sent me a DM and they said, "Bobby, they're like, with a pro subscription, you get a free bullseye." And I said, "Oh, I'm already a member." I was like, I don't know if I forget if I had purchased that. No, I don't know where I'd picked that up, or if I'd bought it online. I might have bought it from like Tackle Warehouse actually, or something. And I told them, I was like, "Oh, I'm already a pro member." They're like, "Well, we'll just send you one." So it's on its way. It should be here anytime soon. I was not expecting to be using it through the winter a whole lot, but I'm really, really amped to do some ice fishing once we get some solid ice. After our conversation last week with Nate, I got to tell you, man, middle of February, when maybe right after I get back from Vegas, maybe the first week of March, man, we take a weekend and hit that ice hut. One of those deals. I think that could be a lot of fun.
First week of March, I'll be fishing open water, buddy.
Yeah, you will. You're right. So, hey, maybe first week of... No, February. We'll have to find out when we can swing that and make it work. Gravy chimes in. He says, "Angler is awesome." Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love Angler. I really do. I'd like to see us do more things with them, but it's a great product. I really, really enjoy it.
And this is a good time to mention what we have coming up next week. Not for this week, but for next week. You obviously were busy this week while I had the time to compile this information. But next week, we're going to take a look at 2021 in the rear view and see what we did statistically.
Yeah.
So you and I are drawing from two different sources. You'll be hitting your Angler and whatever else you... Didn't you use something else too this year?
I had previously. I was using FishBrain, and I do still use FishBrain a little bit more for like the social side of things. It does do, I will say this, I do think that using the two apps, it's not one versus the other. I think using the two give you the most amount of data. For instance, I think when it comes to tracking baits and things, FishBrain is really good. Angler, it's the input that makes it so easy, which is awesome. But I mean, both of them do some similar things, like with weather patterns and getting a snapshot of what's going on at that point. Obviously, if you've got your electronics, I know Lowrance units, I believe it's Lowrance, will work with Angler. Jay chimes in. He goes, "Wait, I just noticed. Is that a stuffed bald eagle behind Sean?"
No, it's a giant clutch banner with a bald eagle on it.
That would be... might be some legal issues there. If those...
Fucking America.
That's Sean the Fisherman. America. Fuck yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we're gonna be bumping these sources of information, mine and yours. Throwing them out there, telling everybody how we did this year, and really taking a look at where we've been, where we're at, and where we're going.
Yeah. We're going places, damn it. We are going places.
Straight to hell.
I realized looking at the calendar today that we're really just over 30 days out from the 100th episode. So this is like, it's getting down to crunch time now. You guys definitely want to get your tickets while you can. We're adding more and more vendors. This week is going to be a big push to add to our virtual vendor program. Right now we're working with a bunch of great folks. Lachwood, we've got Hookset Hoodlums, Three Bells Outfitters obviously will be in the house. Who else do we have? But we have like, a couple of irons in the fire with other companies that we've worked with for other things and other products as well, which is kind of awesome. You're not going to want to miss that. So we'll hopefully, and as we add them, as they get confirmed, you'll be seeing us posting on Instagram and Facebook to let you guys know what you could look forward to. But remember, it's a $10 ticket. That ticket primarily is going to help out make Massachusetts fishing spots great again. And every single time I mention that organization to somebody, they kind of chuckle because it's like such a long name, and they're like, and I'm like, then I tell them the story about the Connecticut River cleanup in Holyoke. And I'm like, yeah, the amount of tons of trash that they pulled out of there was miraculous. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we love them. And that night on February the 5th, we're going to be handing them a giant check. And looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really awesome. It's going to be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. When I describe the work they do, I'm like, these guys and gals are out there. They're doing the dirty work. They're pulling needles out of shit. I mean, that's like, it's bad enough we have a heroin epidemic, but then people just throw them everywhere.
It's like, it's one thing you're addicted to opiates. It's another thing that you're a litter bug. Put the two together. Like, I'm a piece of shit for judging your holiday lights, but that's a whole other kind of piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're eccentric for doing that. These people are pieces of shit if they're throwing needles into waterways.
I am eccentric. Eccentric. So, it's been an interesting week. It really has. I cannot believe. And it just happened to work out that I had a couple hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and do a little bit of fishing. I'm all ready to rock for my New Year's event. Everything's good. I'm going to go out and I'm going to fish a little bit. And it did me some good. It was nice. Got to clear my head a little bit, beat the bank. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I really, 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 really do. Go ahead, Sean. Were you going to jump in there with something?
I did. I was thinking about it while we were chit-chatting here, and I realized I did get some fishing shit done this week.
Oh, you did?
Some stuff that people should do this time of year.
Oh, yes. Tell me.
Got my fishing license.
Yes, I should jump on that.
I got my 2022 KBF membership.
Oh, look at you.
And I had to get my 2022 Fishing Chaos membership.
Nice, man.
So those are things that people are going to need, especially the Fishing Chaos if you're planning on doing the Chronic Trips and Jigs and Bigs tournaments and any of the, MAKB locally, EKF regionally, or KBF nationally tournaments. You're going to need those.
Yep.
So, yeah, I kind of wait till the last minute until I know I'm going somewhere to get a different state license. Like I could have bought 5 state licenses this week, and I'm like, I'll just wait until the tournaments roll up, and it'll be fine.
I'm the same way, man. I wait until like that first trip going, and I have a different kind of order. Like I will, now that it's it's January, I usually just will wait until that next trip that I'm going out. I'll get my license for the year in Mass, and then I'm good. What I'll wait for is, once I take that first trip where I'm doing a trip to Connecticut, then I'll buy a license for the year, an out-of-state license for the year. And then almost all the other states, I just pick up like a weekend or something, unless I find myself going there that often. And then kind of once I make that decision of like, no, it's worth it to just get it for the year. If it's cheap enough, that's one thing. But like when we were in Vermont, that's a good example. I don't go to Vermont a whole lot. When we were in Vermont, my father too, I said, let's just do the 3-day. We're going to be here for 3 days. Yep. It's all good.
Yeah. I've got to do that for, I think a 3-day for New York.
Yep.
Let me think about this. I'm going to Winnipesaukee at least once, if not twice. Once. So that'll be a 3-day because that's a weekend. I think Champlain, I may have to get a year for Vermont. I don't know. I'll deal with it when I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But that's another note.
There is a good thing about getting a year-long license for a neighboring state. is that it gives you an excuse to go there again.
I know, but
I
one of the things that I could talk about, for tournaments coming up this year, and we could talk about it next week, is that I'm narrowing down my focus. So like my pre-fishing is going to be so restricted to Massachusetts. I could break this right now if it's not really big, it's not big news. I've talked to you about it, but I'm focusing more on in-person tournaments this coming year and less on nationwide or multi-species. I'm still going to run the jigs and bigs, and I'm still going to run, I'm helping Nate run the chronic trips, but I think my participation with those is going to be minimal to none because I'm really, really going to focus on, the 5 EKFs, the 7, possibly 8 if I make the championship for MAKB.
Yep.
And then there are some KBF events that are lined up with EKF events. Not only the which one was first? The Mesolonsky we already talked about, but KBF just did a huge announcement a couple days ago. Was it a couple days ago? This week at some point, this past 7 days, that they're going to have a Winnipesaukee event that lines up with another EKF event. So there's 2 EKF events that the Saturday are EKF and KBF, and then the Sunday's KBF only. And I believe it's Winnipesaukee plus Mesolonsky. So like I'm really going to be focusing in my fishing time. I mean, it's one of those things too, man. I really like my wife. I kind of love her, and I got to stop pissing her off by saying I'm in a multi-species tournament. I got to fish 4 days this week. I can't do that shit. Now, if I have a weekend tournament and I pre-fish once, that's a lot more.
That's a little bit more magic.
You know what I mean?
You bring up a good point here, Sean. I just watched a video that was put out by Mike Iaconelli, Swamp Rat Fishing's favorite pro angler, Mike Iaconelli. And he talked about, I think it was 5 mistakes that anglers make. And this I love it when pros talk about this kind of stuff, and then you kind of get a little bit of like the dirty laundry too. He's like, I do the same thing. He goes. One of them was, and he called himself out on it. He's like, not fishing slow enough. He's like, I'm one of these people. I get locked in and just go. I'm on the trolling motor, and I don't slow down and maybe fish a spot as thoroughly as I should. And in this video, one of the things I thought was cool is he gave a nod to kayak anglers, because he was just like, when you're fishing from a kayak, it puts you in a position where you have to think more about fishing a spot thoroughly, and you're a little bit more cognizant because you don't have the luxury of just zipping around to your waypoints and stuff. He's like, so you kind of invest a little bit more into it. But one of the things that he had mentioned was, I think the mistake was fishing yesterday's pattern. Like not fishing for the moment. And it got me thinking about pre-fishing, and I've heard from some anglers before that they'll say, I don't pre-fish. Like I go out there with the knowledge that I have, if I know that body of water, great. And I know pre-fishing can mean different things to different anglers. Like, where do you stand on that? I'm just curious. So like fishing like yesterday's pattern, like I'll give you an example. Like, the KBF event at Candlewood that you were on, and the buzz from a lot of folks were they were pre-fishing and they were pre-fishing and fish were up on beds, and then tournament day rolled around and that pattern had changed. They weren't obviously there. And then I remember you had mentioned that some of that may have been from the big boat tournaments as well, literally moving the fish, because they were on live wells and all that stuff, but all those things. So those fish don't exactly exist there. Like, does that mean pre-fishing is kind of a waste of time unless it's brand new water to you and you're just looking at structure?
Well, that's with the Candlewood example, that's kind of a loaded example because
I know
bed fishing versus the rest of the year. I don't bed fish. So I was looking at, when I went pre-fish Candlewood, I was looking at a particular area. I found the area I wanted to fish. Mm-hmm. I felt there were fish there, and then I went through my arsenal to try and get something going, and it was a particular Ned rig. When I was pre-fishing, I got two hits on, or two fish on. It was like 2 16-inchers at the end of the day, and I'm like, they didn't seem to be super into it, but I had changed colors, and I said, but I was narrowing in, like what I needed to do, and then when the fishing day, when the tournament came, I made one last little tweak, and that's what did it. So I was able in that pre-fishing to narrow. I think I hit it the way I needed it to narrow down the bite without blowing it up, because I've had, let me think about this, where the 57 run, the Route 57 run for MAKB. I went out there and pre-fished, and my worst nightmare of pre-fishing came true because I hooked into a 20-inch bass.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that dialed in. I was like, shit, I should have, it was the first fish I caught on this one lure. I changed it, and it was the exact right lure. And, that day the weather conditions changed so much that I don't think it mattered.
Yeah.
Candlewood was good. Bigger lakes I think it's super important to pre-fish, because not only do you have to find fish, but you got to find what they're eating. You got two big things. With a smaller body of water, I don't know if you're familiar with it, you can kind of get away with it, I guess, if you're already, but then you're just pre-fishing from the past. But the pre-fishing gives you a place to start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's up to your own skills of, okay, so I started with this particular lure that worked 3 days ago. What do I do from here?
Yep.
Then you're on your own the quarterback clock in your head that I've mentioned. Are you devoting too much time to something? Are you pushing this lure when maybe it worked the other day and something's changed? That's paying attention to your surroundings. Did the wind change? Are there clouds now when there weren't, or vice versa? Did rain come through in between? Was there a cold front in between? There's all these questions. I think it is important to pre-fish, though, especially waters you're not familiar with. Candlewood I would not have done as well if I didn't pre-fish.
And to clarify, I want to mention, it's not that Mike Iaconelli is saying don't pre-fish. He was talking about getting locked in that one pattern and not being flexible is ultimately what the point he was making. I'm the one that's bringing this up to, is pre-fish worth doing? I'm the one that's bringing that question up.
Yeah, I think it's where I think it's worth it. Yeah. I believe in it. Getting locked in, anglers do that without being in tournaments. Like I said, I've got a couple buddies that no matter what, they only have Senkos on them. One of them doesn't like treble hooks. The other one doesn't know how to throw anything else. And that's it. If you try to teach them to do something else, they're just not going to learn. It's like, all right, well, that's your business.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important. So I do like the way MAKB does it, where if we have a tournament on Saturday, we can't pre-fish past Wednesday. That's awesome. So you're not just loading up on fish the day before.
You're not putting a bunch of pressure on that body of water right there. It gives it a little bit of a lull, at least a little bit of lull from the organization having the tournament, because the general public might still freaking hammer it like to hell.
Yeah.
And in some bodies of water, that's just the way it is. So
exactly.
We got some breaking news here, folks. This information just coming into us. So you know our good friend, the Vanilla Gorilla, Cody Van Zandt, a.k.a. Lachwood Fishing, did a little Christmas giveaway over the Christmas holiday a week ago. Exactly. He had posted a giveaway post on Instagram with, arguably what could be one of the most valuable, if not just the best giveaway ever put on a fishing Instagram page. It's a good one. We've got products for baitops.co, Wisco Bait Co. We've got Beast Coast Fishing, Stretching Lines, Flirt Skirt Fishing, Old Glory Outdoors USA, Addiction Baits. What is this? Epic Eric Base Lab. We've got Hooks at Hoodlums. We've got Cast Crew, Liquid Coastal, Dust Off Fishing, Gravy Fishing, Delirious Angler. Yours truly, Jigs and Bigs. We've got Paul Heels and Swamp Rat Fishing putting up some Bass and Brews podcast swag as well. System G Design is putting up one of their sling bags and a small jig case, as well as a pliers holder. I'm not sure what the dollar value is on that bag configuration, but it ain't cheap. That's a nice rig to have. And then Doomsday Tackle is putting a 7-foot 3-inch heavy fast J-Dam casting rod. Katie Lynn Custom Rods is offering up a $100 gift certificate toward a custom built rod, which is amazing. You have the opportunity to fill a spot in your arsenal, maybe that you've been looking for the ideal sort of rig. That's a great way to do it and get $100 towards it. That's awesome. Plus, it includes a one-night lodging and dinner and breakfast, plus 1 full day of trophy bass fishing with shoreside gourmet lunch with the one and only Lachwood Fishing. It's a pretty awesome prize. They had a bunch of of entries. I mean, what I'm seeing, 97 likes in there, and I'm not even sure how many comments. I don't have those insights. But we got the winner. And you guys want to know who the winner is? I'm assuming you guys want to know who the winner is. The winner is actually none other than this week's guest. The winner is Coley. It's Cupcake Coley. Nice job, Coley. Pretty freaking amazing, Coley. Oh, and look who jumps in. We got Lachwood Fishing right here. He says, gentlemen, Lachwood, Cody, we just announced the winner. Coley's the big winner of that amazing prize. This is going to be amazing, absolutely amazing. So this drawing was done with an impartial, non-social media follower choosing this entry manually. So this is pretty awesome, man. Coley, you got some gear coming your way, man. I'm psyched for you. I am psyched. This is very, very good. Enjoy this gear. Like, listen to the interview, guys. She's going to love this. Yeah. What'd she say? Thanks. Going to start with an hour or two a day. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That's how I try to do it, man. You know? Oh, so unbelievably cool. This is awesome. I kind of like doing giveaways like this. I really kind of do. Like, you know, kind of market it this way and make it happen. I think this is freaking unbelievable. So,
that was a hell of a prize, and congrats to Coley. It's good stuff.
That's huge. You know, I know that. Listen to the interview. I think the content that could come out of this guided tour in Cody's neck of the woods could be absolutely amazing. Trust me, I think these are two folks that will absolutely, like, you remember last year when Big Nasty went down to fish with Cody? Mm-hmm. All the amazing stuff that came out of that. I think this is going to be on that level. I genuinely think so.
We're going to have to title that episode Psychedelics and Bear Mace.
Psychedelics and Bear Mace. Oh, man. I learned some shit about Coley this week in this interview. I really did. In fact, I even made some musical suggestions as well. And I think, Coley's good folks right there. Good folks. She's all right.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool, man. So, I mean, as far as our weeks have gone, it's, you know, I mean, it's New Year's. It's a bizarre sort of weather pattern. I mean, Gravy pointed out tomorrow's high is supposed to be in the 20s. It's just going to suck. It's going to be weird. I know I should have gotten out today. I'm kicking myself for not doing it. But, you know, I mean, once we get some ice, I'm going to get out there and start making some things happen. It's going to be good freaking time. I'm really, really psyched about it.
Eating some food, catching some pickerel.
Yep.
Game on.
Yeah, eating some pickerel. Screw it. Let's do it, man. Let's find some recipes and make it happen. Apparently, pickerel is very big in Canada.
Well, yes.
Yeah, very, very big in Canada.
Pickerel and poutine.
Ooh, that sounds like a great combo right there. Mm-hmm. I think this show is pretty freaking badass. We have some good stuff. Guys, and just the tip this week, we are going to talk about preparations, getting ready for that next season, like the right way to go about restocking, getting your arsenal in order. I mean, this isn't necessarily just like the maintenance and stuff. This is like replenishing like things that you need and kind of how to go about it. I'm interested in this because quite often, have you ever seen that show, Sean, Supermarket Sweep?
Dude, long time ago, but yeah.
Okay. So in Supermarket Sweep, I feel like that's me at Old Glory in late February. Every year, I'm just like, I'll buy this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to get this. Oh, yeah, I'll get this. I'm just taking like, oh, look, all these Z-Man plastics. Boom, there we go. Hey, it floats. It's stretchy. You know, just whatever it is. Oh, this is cool. We'll throw this. Sarah Pendergast likes this Whopper Plopper. We're going to throw this. The monkey butt. Yeah. Just let's do it. Oh, how do you take...
You mentioned Sarah. That's free sauce for us.
Free sauce. Yes. Congratulations to our all the new Hooks at Hoodlum fam that have been added recently. Two of which are very close friends to the show, Chris and Sarah Pendergast. We appreciate you guys. it's a good thing. But I did let Bill know that he did miss an opportunity to kind of like form his own like direct garden connection. Like there was, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. What the future.
Bill screwed up. Free sauce for us.
It happens. Lachwood chimes in here with my pickerel comment here. Says, I've heard lots of folks make fish cakes with pickerel. You know, there is a guy out in Canada. His name is Ken Domick. And Ken is he's like a food blogger or a food vlogger rather. He does some interesting stuff. Like he likes to follow a lot of like the fast food trends and things like that. And one of the things that he does is he'll like, especially during like the shutdown and everything, he records everything in his car, eating all this food, gets it to go, and then goes wherever. And there was this one spot somewhere in Ontario, and it's right on a lake, and it's one of these seafood and like ice cream places where there's a dock where you can just, you know, boat right in, tie off to the dock, go and fill your face, have some drinks, watch a band, and then like jump in your boat and go back to where you came from. You know what I mean? It's just, it's pretty cool. There's a parking lot and stuff there, but they had fish and chips, and they had it with, I want to say it was either haddock or cod, and pickerel was an option. And that's when it kind of like, you know, popped into my head. I'm like, pickerel, huh? I know pike is good eating, and I mean, they're in the same family. Generally, smaller fish, better fish.
Give it a roll.
You know, I mean, I don't know, you know.
Give it a roll. We'll have to boil the meat off the bones. There's a lot of bones in there. That's what keeps me away from them. Like, you know, I get a good fillet off most fish, but
there is a unique way to fillet them. It's because of the Y bone. That's why they're a whole other animal. But some people are just, you know, crazy about it. My father's got great stories. He probably told it to you when I was in some level of drunkenness about when they had gone out. Where was it? It was a bait shop not too far from where we were. And he had gone out with a buddy of his, and they had caught a pretty good, you know, amount of pike. And the guy at the bait shop had told him, like, oh, you know, if you catch any pike, bring them back here. And he had a little fry daddy in the back and everything. And he goes, fillets everything up and made pike nuggets right there. And he's like, between like 3 or 4 or 5 guys, they killed like the day's catch.
Your dad told that story on the pontoon boat.
Was it on the pontoon boat?
I'm pretty sure. Nelson can verify that, but I'm pretty sure because I remember him telling that story. That was awesome.
That was a good time, man. That good. Lachwood chimes in, says Sean loves bone. No, on the right day. On the right day.
2022, baby.
2022. 2002. We're going back to 2002. I'm booking my tickets.
2002.
We're going back 20 years.
Put on the Limp Bizkit. Let's have 2002 back. Holy shit.
There was a lot of Jaeger that was enjoyed in 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
I was drinking a lot of cheap beer back then.
Yeah, a lot of. I had a system in 2002 where I would go in and I would have like a Woodford Reserve rocks.
Yeah,
probably neat. And then after I had 1, maybe 2, it was only on payday. I'd switch to Jim Beam because I couldn't tell the difference. It was just like, yeah, it's whiskey, you know. Yeah. To be young and fucking stupid. Just another reminder, guys, the 100th show is coming up on February the 5th. It's at 7 p.m. You're not going to want to miss it. Whole lot of fun. We've got prizes, special guests. We've got great vendors. You can win stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we do have like an Ask Me Anything. So like those live streams that we did last spring is going to feel very much like that, especially in what would be the 3rd segment. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. We've got more and more songs we've been adding to the playlist over on Spotify here and there. If you have a song suggestion or you're interested in just adding a bunch, I mean, let me know. I can make it open to anyone to add some songs and make edits too. It could be a lot of fun. Fishing report. I will be submitting my tales of victory. And then who knows when I might get another submission on this fishing report, but it is coming out every 2 weeks, and it'll definitely have much more information once we have some ice, and we're actually fishing like it's really January. That might certainly help. And we've got merch that's available at jigsandbigs.com. Who was it? Somebody had recently. Oh, it was Jordan. Jordan Capone out in good old North Carolina had posted a picture recently, looking back. I think it was on New Year's Eve, actually, posting he was wearing his Jigs and Bigs hat. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like he catches his biggest fish when he's wearing that hat. I don't know what it is. What the correlation is. Maybe it's just the good vibes from the show. So if you guys want to catch bigger fish, buy our merch. And I think essentially that's the point I'm trying to make here, guys. If you guys want to break your PB, we're going to go for it. One thing, Sean, I think we should also talk about next week in the show is goals. Or maybe we should go and bump that a week later and milk this shit for as much as we can. Because I that's one of the questions I've had come up a lot just in conversation is goals. What are your goals for fishing? I've seen lots of posts. In fact, I saw one recently that just kind of infuriated me because it was like, catch a new PB. And I'm just like, oh, man.
It's something you have a lot of control over.
Yeah, it's very,
it's
very difficult. Like, it really, really is. But hey, some people that's what they want to do, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's all good. But like I definitely like to talk about goals, things that you can actually work toward, and do the best you can with them, and kind of make all that shit happen. And then of course, Sean's Instagram profile is jettisoning toward 1,000 followers.
jettisoning.
Yeah. It is on its way.
Rocketing.
Yeah. It is
rocketing. I love it.
It's on. It's cruise control has been set. It's all an amount of time. Once that sucker pops, we're gonna do another giveaway with some amazing prizes. So you're not gonna want to miss out on that. We got good stuff coming up.
I believe I crossed 935 today. Right, 930 something.
You're up there. You're almost at 940.
So we're a short and curly away, guys. Help me out, and then that'll get some more fun out to you guys.
So look at this. Scuba Steve and Cody are coming up for the 100th.
Will they be driving overnight, arriving sleep-deprived at the event, and then just start drinking? Is that what's going to happen? We've seen this before.
This is going to be amazing, man. Lachwood Fishing in Springfield, Massachusetts. We got to see if we can get him a Bondi's Island Tackle Shop T-shirt for that sucker.
He needs one.
Yeah,
we need him. He needs him too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have to talk to Springfield Mass Sucks and make sure to get one of those. Follow Springfield Mass Sucks also on Instagram. Good stuff, man. Maybe what we should do is beforehand. Maybe we take a ride down to 420 M Street and we do a little bit of fishing at the old Jigs and Bigs HQ.
Jigs and Bigs HQ is a hell of a fishing spot.
It really is. Yeah.
Now my question is, are they coming up for the whole weekend? Are they going to be sightseeing Western Mass, all these wonderful places we talk about? We'll have to give them a list. Should we put up a list as opposed of like shit people should go see if they are driving up to see us be?
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. That's a real good idea. Send everybody to the White Hut for lunch. Yep.
White Hut. Yep. Basketball Hall of Fame. Bar Taco's a little bit of a hike, I guess, if you're driving up. But if you're driving up from the south, they could time a Bar Taco visit. And then we could only hope that people film this shit.
It's true. Oh, I hope they do. I might even have to organize some kind of a field trip.
Oh my God.
I might have to make some calls and see if I can get somebody, one of my limo friends, to hook me up with a party bus for that morning, or maybe the morning after. That might be a good idea.
God.
Maybe the morning after.
This is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be
coffee from Monsoon and donuts from Miss Murphy's.
Yep.
Yeah. That could be a good time.
Yeah, we could flood. We could raid Mrs. Mitchell's.
Oh my God! Could you imagine
Viking warriors?
Oh, Orla, stock up on the freaking black and white puddings because it's going to be game on. There's going to be fry ups every which way.
Yeah. See, there's things we can do here. Maybe we will. But I think that's a good idea. I'll put together a little list this week, and we'll start priming it. For those of you coming up to the show, here's some shit to do.
I wonder if they're doing tours at Blue Seal. You boys want to see how the sausage gets made? Lauren chimes in here with some actual like value here. She says setting goals is like New Year's resolutions. The best ones are definable, scalable, and realistic. I couldn't agree more. I think it's awesome. Setting a goal, saying you're gonna, do X or cross this threshold or something. It's may not necessarily be the way to go. Oh my goodness.
Yep. I think there'll be a lot of shenanigans going on that weekend, especially for anybody who stays up here, especially if it's Cody and Steve. I can only imagine what it's going to sound like.
I think it's going to sound a little bit like this.
Using crack and cocaine to get high. That's what you say you know. But it's really insane. You could die. What are you thinking of?
It is Springfield, Massachusetts, baby.
You got to spice that fucking weekend up, man.
It is. It's true.
So I guess that means we got to trip the Holyoke clan.
Oh, the Volleyball Hall of Fame.
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about for a pickup. Oh, boy.
Party on.
February 5th. February 5th is going to be rough.
February 5th is going to be insanity. Just that's all there is to it. Oh, all right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got our Just the Tip segment for you. Again, this is taking stock of what you need and restocking time and all that stuff, how to get yourself ready for whether you're looking forward to tournament season or you're just looking for open water or whatever the situation may be. How can you be ready? We're going to cover all that stuff, guys. Plus, we have tourney information for you guys that you're going to want to know. Chronic Trips registration and submitted fish and all that kind of stuff. What's been going on. Chronic Trips is happening, so you're not going to want to miss it. Stick around and stay tuned, guys. Much more coming up right after this quick message. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce we're being supported by Old Glory Outdoors. They're a veteran-owned company that carries fishing and hunting gear. Plus, they're highly active in supporting veteran organizations and charities. Old Glory is an authorized dealer of favorite rods, FX rods, Guggen baits, X-Zone lures, Sixth Sense, and many more. There's a brick-and-mortar store located in East Brookfield, Massachusetts, but you can also order online at oldgloryoutdoors.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. When you order, use the promo code JIGS and Bigs and you'll save 10% off your complete order. Plus, you'll help support the show. Make sure to check out the apparel line called OGO Gear while you're there. Old Glory Outdoors believes in the slogan "Start 'em young" to keep kids away from screens and enjoying nature. They've got a full array of live bait too. Check out oldgloryoutdoors.com and use the promo code JIGS and Bigs. Save some money and gear up now.
Bobby and Sean now have a special presentation for us all. They'd like to give everyone just the tip.
That guy, I miss having him around. I miss having him around.
I hope he survives the Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jaguars.
Got a bonus tip here before I get into the real tip.
Oh.
Or before the real tip gets into everybody else.
Oh.
Being outdoorsmen that travel, I cannot be the only one. And you've seen me apply this method. I cannot be the only one who hates the phenomenon known as cheesy fingers. Doritos.
Oh,
Cheetos,
cheesy fingers. Yeah.
Name your product that leaves a disgusting, oily cheese. I know it's not cheese, but whatever that filth is, right? On your fingers, and then it's on your steering wheel. Then it's on everything you touch. It's just gross, right?
So would this same phenomenon apply to like a sour cream and onion potato chip, where you get the same stuff, but it maybe doesn't have the color that like?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a cheese guy, so I just relate it to cheesy fingers. But let me give everyone a tip here. So when you stop at your local rest stop to get yourself a bag of Doritos, bag of Cheetos, whatever you get, something that's going to leave a film on your finger that you do not want on your fingers, right? Go ahead and bring up a paper or plastic cup from the fountain area, a large one, and then don't fill it with anything and just say to the counter person, say, hey, I don't want cheesy fingers and I'd like to put my, snack food in this thing and eat it like an animal out of a feed bag. Like you're drinking it. Most of the time, they don't make you pay for it. Just to let you know, they'll be like, yeah, it's a good idea. Take the cup. But you always ask. You be polite.
Yeah.
You tell them Sean sent you.
Yep.
There's tip number one.
That's tip number one.
Tip number two actually has to do with fishing, lures, and, well, this beautiful time of year that we refer to as the dead zone, where you're really not getting a lot done.
The dead zone. All right, enough of that.
New, the dead zone, complete with sirens. As we've discussed, and I mean numerous times at this point, but I think it kind of wraps up altogether. When I started keeping my database on fishing, the point of it was to save myself money on lures. Okay, so it points me in the direction after analysis of what am I catching fish on? What lures provide me the most value? Okay, and what colors and what sizes, etc. So at this time of year, I can look at that data, and then I can look down in, as we discussed, what was this, about a month ago when we talked about storage methods?
Yep.
I can look down in my basement. I look through my racks of lures, and I have them in the little plastic, cheap, they're shoe boxes, I look through that. I see where I need to refill. I mean, it's pretty easy. Just the other day on Christmas, I received a gift card.
Yep.
From a sporting goods store from relatives. Guess what I did?
A bunch of drop shot weights.
Yeah, exactly. I bought drop shot weights, and then the convenience store made me pay for a cup. But no, I went to the sporting goods store. I knew. I mean, the top lures that I know I'm catching fish on. I don't need to reference a database. I mean, there's certain things I know that I'm focusing on, and I just refilled those. I took the gift card. Nothing special. I'm not going out getting a new rod. I don't need a new rod. I got a whole set of new rods. I'm good on that. Mm-hmm. I don't need a reel. I know that I'm going to need those plastics because there's certain ones that I run through. So I went out and just took that gift card and just dumped it right in the plastics and came home. The end. But without that database to get me to the point that I know what I'm throwing, I mean, that's where it all starts. What am I catching fish on? Not what do I remember catching fish on? There's a big difference. And I don't trust my memory at my age. And I'm not even that old. I'm just really an idiot. So I've taken the thinking out of it, put the documentation in, and that makes it easy enough.
Yep.
And then I just go and refill all that stuff. And I mean, I think, who was it? Ray, Sparky, True Nibbler Lipper. He said some business. He had to stop by. Once we were done talking business, that sounds really shady, huh?
It really does. Dude's
an electrician. I needed some electrical work done. And he's got the right thing going. So anyways,
you make it sound like he's like an underground massage therapist or something,
We were using crack and cocaine.
Exactly.
No, he came over. We were worried about some electrical issues, and then I showed him. I'm like, here's what I do. Here's all the shoe boxes are all labeled, this, that, the other thing. And as I need them, I refill them. It's simple enough. So, I don't know, document what you catch, what you're catching fish on, and then you'll know what lures are valuable to you and what you're catching fish on and what you need to refill at this time of year, whether it be soft baits, hard baits, whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll keep giving this tip over and over and over. This really aligns with me with safety, is document what you're doing and be safe about it. Those are like my two mantras. You know what I mean?
And it's funny, like I think especially with plastics, I almost think are one of those things where you can never have too many. You can have too many on your person. You know what I mean? But like if they're working, whether you're using them for jig trailers or, whatever it is, plastics, like there's so many variables and there's so many things. You want to pay attention to, the shapes that you're using, the sizes that you're using, and then you want to look at the colors and figure out what performs, And I think that, honestly, if you keep really good records, then it's that is gonna stick out really easily to you to know. But even if you don't keep great records, you're gonna know the things that you're running out of because they're getting the use. Like I always know that there's certain, paddle tail swim baits that I'm going to be buying for different things. And what's really interesting was I started out buying just one size of paddle tail swim bait in a couple of colors. And what I've noticed is that what I'm actually using and I get better results at different times of the year or different types of bodies of water or different presentations if I vary the sizes of what I'm throwing. And, in some cases, like you can even associate that to stick baits. The certain stick baits have different qualities. People like different things, but it's like pay attention to the sizes. Don't sink all your money into 7-inch, Yamamoto Senkos if you've been catching them on 4s the majority of the time.
Definitely. Don't sink your money into 10-inch Lachwood Dominators. In midnight blue. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
If it gets sunk back into you, you're going to regret it.
You will regret it in a way. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. There will be some regrets will be made. Oh, no, that's
so
that's solid, man. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. And like I said, especially with plastics. I mean, like in the storage discussion that we talked about, like you were talking about those plastic like shoebox shaped boxes. Just keep a bunch of envelopes in plastic and go for it. And then, cover your bases. When you're going out for one day, you don't need to bring 500 plastics with you. If you do, and that makes sense to you logically, you need to rethink what you're doing with your life because you're going through plastics way too quickly. If that's the case, but figure out what works, and make it happen.
Yeah.
And everybody's different too. I think that's the other thing as well. Like, what works for you is what works for you, and I think that's sort of something that we have to take into consideration too. Like I am one of those who is like, oh, it's a stick bait. A stick bait's a stick bait's a stick bait, but it's not actually the case. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There are different baits act different ways for different reasons. So it knowing what you're getting into and paying attention to the details will pay dividends because you'll know what works. If you can get a steal on Yum Dingers, but you've caught most of your fish on the Yamamotos, see what happens in your records after you've, gone through that barrel of 100 dingers. Are they going to perform the way that you want them to perform in the presentation you're using them for?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, damn it. So, there is no FTG for this week.
Oh, sir, you are so wrong. Someone
I'm wrong.
presented them as the FTG as we started recording. Go ahead, play the music. I got them. It's going to be quick and sweet.
Oh, you got it. Okay, well, sit.
Oh, I got it. Oh, yeah.
Well, geez, my friend, I didn't realize that. Okay, well,
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go then.
Oh, where's the
So hit me with some funny shit, man.
All right, it's been gray and awful and shitty up here, and Jay Manning is in Aruba. Fuck that guy. That's all I got.
There you go, man.
Love you, Jay, but you shouldn't have told us that.
Oh, now I just gonna want to. When we're done this, I'm gonna go watch Kokomo with my wife, or Cocktail, the Cocktail soundtrack. Yeah,
nothing throws up a big red flag saying, "Hey, fuck me," other than hey guys, I'm in Aruba.
Hi from sunny Aruba.
What's zany radio guys down there with them? I'm in Aruba.
Have you ever been to Aruba?
I have not.
I got a good story for Aruba.
Hit it.
All right, so we're gonna fast forward. We're gonna rewind the tape a little bit to what was it? Was it 1994? A young Bobby Roastbeef had just gotten his driver's license. He was a young man on the road with an American automobile and a dream. And his parents wanted to go on a cruise over spring break, April vacation. I was pissed. All I wanted to do was drive around. And I go on this trip, and we fly down to, I think we left from Florida, and we went on this, it was a Carnival cruise ship, and no, Kathy Lee wasn't there. I would have thrown her overboard. But we go and we start going to a variety of different islands. And one of these islands that we made a stop on was Aruba. One interesting thing about Aruba is that it's basically flat. It's almost like if you took like Indiana and like put it in the middle of the ocean. Like it's flat. There's like no mountains. There's like nothing, you know? And the trees, they reflect that. Like they look almost like bonsai trees because like the wind just kind of takes them and it's nuts. So your boy, Papa Roast Beef did your boy a solid. And a lot of these places, like even on the boat, you could drink at 18. So when we got on the ship, even though I was 16 and a half, my dad says, oh yeah, he's 18. And they gave me some kind of a card, and I could, order drinks, and it was, hey, good stuff. Well, your boy decided he was out snorkeling in Aruba, which, by the way, is if you're gonna snorkel anywhere, it's one of the best places on the planet you can do it. Like, it's absolutely amazing. Saw barracuda, like all kinds of crazy stuff. Yeah, it was intense. It was very, very intense. And I kind of went a little further down the coastline from where the spot was on our beach, and I come up on the beach, and there was a big hotel there, and I'm going over I see this little cabana. I'm going to go get a drink. So I take my flippers off and my snorkel and stuff, and I'm walking over to the beach or walking over to this little cabana to get a beer. At the time I was drinking Heinekens. I was like, yeah, I'm on vacation, baby. I'm drinking Heinekens. So
coming out of the water like a Bond girl. I'm sure.
Like a Bond girl, exactly. And let me tell you, this was not the body I have now. It was... actually, get Doc Brown on the phone. We want to go back to the mid-'90s when we want to go back to those pre-Bernie's years, and like that was a good time. So I'm walking out, and I am on I realize that this is a nude beach that I'm walking onto, and walking towards me is somebody's grandmother, and she's like, excuse me, are you in the right place? To which I just put my flippers back on and ran back to the ocean, the open ocean. I was like, no. Why is the backseat of that Buick walking toward me? Why is that happening?
You migrated back to the sea.
I did. I migrated back. I was like, no. There is no green bottle beer that's going to get me out of this salty brine. Where that salty brine, no. So, Aruba.
Excellent. The only, if we're gonna go on that tangent, the only nude beach I've ever been to was on Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, really? I love Martha's.
There was one there. The one time we ever went to Martha's Vineyard, we had this one trip. It was 1 week. I think it was like 1985, or 86.
Okay.
And it was the only vacation that my dad actually didn't go to Cape Cod with us on. He was working that week. We went to Martha's Vineyard, and I must have been, oh shit.
If it was 85, man, you must have been super
8
young.
or 9. 8 or 9, well, 8, 9, 10. So I don't even think I was 10. I think it was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And one of my older cousins, who was just a few years older than me, she, me, my brother all went on this walk, and we just walked right onto the nude beach without knowing.
That's how it happens.
Private beach. And then there's just dicks and boobs everywhere. And dude, let me tell you about the funniest walk I've ever had. I just did.
Yeah.
The minute we saw the first wiener and the first boob, it was just sheer laughter. Like, why are all these people naked? And we walked, we're like, this is a nude beach. And we just kept laughing. It turned right back around. And our parents were like, where did you guys go? We went to the nude beach.
I don't know what they do here, but they put all these naked people on this island.
I know. Second highlight of my tour, that trip was that was the second highlight. The first highlight was we got to see the beach where Jaws was filmed on, which was awesome.
Oh yeah,
so,
that
was cool.
That's nice
with the big red and white tent things, Yep.
I do like Martha's Vineyard. I've done a couple of weddings out on the island, and when I get booked for them, I really, really enjoy them. What I try to do, and it works, is I'm able to get a couple of additional days. Like I'll add a day to my stay and kind of relax a little bit because it's a mission. I mean, I got to pack up my vehicle full of all the equipment, plus any backup equipment just in case shit hits the fan. Because when you're out there, if something breaks on you, you're screwed. So, like outfitted to the gills, like, to the teeth, ready to go with anything, and the ferry and everything. By the time you got to make it worthwhile. So usually what I do is I'll tell them, like, I'm going to add an additional day, but I'm going to add some services. So if they're doing a rehearsal dinner or something, I'm like, we're going to do a game show, or we'll do, I'll DJ that, or I'll do whatever it may be. So I make sure when I'm in Martha's Vineyard, I make sure that I'm at least having the time of my life as much as humanly possible. I think that's important. Man, I'm glad we had an FTG. I feel bad that it had to be Jay, but I understand. I understand why.
He raised his hand and said, "Gentlemen, you have a volunteer."
He said, "Look at me. Look at me." Oh, that is a good one.
Sorry, Jay.
Oh, well, we are going to, I think that's all we've got for this segment right here. No. We got some tourney stuff to do. Do you want to bring that tournament music back in, or do you want to go with it without? Was it cute when we did it? I kind of feel like it was cute when we did it. Yeah.
In the summer, but not today. Not today. I'm good today. No, this is just a quick reminder, and it's the second day into a 60-day tournament.
Oh, yeah.
The registration's up. It's $30. Myself and Nate Shagnon will be running it. Nate's going to be the point man on this for all the judging. Mm-hmm. We know there's no ice. We know a lot of people aren't fishing open water right now. So we don't have a lot of entries right now. I am not really broken up about that, because that first cold spell that comes in, I think some people will be jumping in. So we're just going to keep reminding you guys, jump in on it. It's Chronic Trips. We're going to keep the prizes small again, probably first, depending on how many entries we get, are going to dictate the number of paying out spots, and then biggest freshwater, biggest saltwater, if there is a biggest saltwater. Mm-hmm. Keep it nice and simple for this tournament, and then expect a few tweaks, a little twist here and there.
I do like tweaks.
Yeah, for April, starting in April with the Jigs and Bigs tournament, I think the scoring is going to be a tad different, and we're going to streamline this tournament and see what we can do with it. So that's all I got, people. Jump in on the Chronic Trips. It's open. It's available. Like I said, payout will be cash prizes for the top, and then we're going to see what kind of wacky crap we can do for the biggest freshwater, biggest saltwater.
It'll be pretty fun. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and get out on the water sometime this week. I'm going to head down and hit the rivers. I got to take a look at some weather stuff. One thing I want to mention before we do go to break is that I tell everybody, I'm like, you want to know the weather? You want to know what the weather's going to be like? Ask a fisherman. Don't ask a weatherman. Ask a fisherman. They're going to know. I had, Sean and I are both huge proponents of an app called Weather Underground, which is I have found 100% to be like unbelievably accurate. Feel pretty good about saying that. I'm happy with it. But I forget. I wish I could give credit where it was. I did get clued into a new app that I think is great for current conditions. And when I say that, I'm specifically talking about wind speed and direction. Specifically, okay. It's called a Ventuski or Ventusky. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's pretty cool. Like you can only zoom in so much, to the point where like I can't get super localized, but you can see that it shows the weather.
Oh, the speeds, yeah, that's awesome.
The direction and the speeds in real time. Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, I'm sure I say in real time. I'm sure there's some delay with what's going on there. Like if you get a big gust, I'm sure it's going to be a few seconds before that reflects that. But it's actually pretty cool because it gives you a little bit more insight, especially like when you're looking at. And this is where I wish that the zoom was a little bit more to where I could get zoom into like a body of water, because then I could kind of like get that mental picture of exactly the way the arrows are going. For that one thing. But I'll tell you what, just even having it based on the way that it is right now, I can see where it's very, very useful. Kind kayak anglers especially, we battle wind. Is anybody on a small boat of any kind?
Yeah.
We battle the wind like it's the number one enemy that we have to deal with when we're out there is the wind.
Oh, it's the number one friend.
Well, it is, but before it can become a friend, it will frustrate you to no end. I mean, it's a love-hate relationship, and I'll tell you what, speaking of that, the wind being a friend, having that information and seeing it on the map and saying like, okay, so I really need to start here and let it push me this way. Like it'll give you just one more thing to consider, and I was like, I was really turned on to that. I was like, that's pretty cool. I'm like, I think for current conditions and like wind speed and wind direction, that's very, very useful. It's a free app. So it's worth checking out. There are some premium features and stuff like that. But I mean, for what I was able to see on there, thought it was pretty badass. Pretty cool.
You're going to laugh at what I've been doing for when I document wind. I just get to the lake. Yeah, pretty much. I see which direction it's blowing in because, we know that with irregularities in the land, it's not like a northwest wind is going to always blow northwest for the entirety. It's all over the place and funneling around through valleys and ponds, and this does all sorts of wacky shit. So I just wait to get out on the water, and I just keep a general eye on wind direction. I don't need it to be perfect. I don't go any further than, I'll go like north by northwest, whatever division that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll go in between a division and a subdivision, and that's about as far as I'll go. And it's general. I mean, the big thing is if I'm seeing it come out of the west, east, north, or south, and then kind of adjust from there,
Yeah.
But I'll have to take a look at that because that looks like it's going to make it easier for wind speed. I mean, what I've been doing is keeping it in increments of 5 because I know the wind's going to be variable.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally just eyeball the ripple on the water. I'm like, yeah, it's under 5. You can kind of tell 5 to 10, and anything over 10, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yep.
I find like 6 is about where I'm happiest. Mm-hmm. Like when I see it's like 6 mile an hour, like a sustained wind, like of those speeds, I'm like, because I feel like for the way I fish, it works well. 6 and lower, I think is ideal.
I don't know. I think 10 to 15, I've had a lot of luck with.
Oh, really?
A lot of success.
Yeah.
But I get at that high wind, and especially if there's, especially if it's early or late, like spring or fall, and that kind of wind, I feel real good about. Really good. And a lot of guys don't like fishing in that high of wind. I love it. I see 10 to 15. I'm like, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I don't. But again, I think that for me, like I'm so young into learning to appreciate the wind and make it work for me that plays a part of it. Those higher winds though too, like, the faster moving winds, you have to think they have more impact on blowing bait up against banks and things like that. So I mean, I can definitely see where bait would ball up that much more, because it's got to fight that much more force from the wind, pushing it up against whatever bank. So I guess I can see where that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I remember, like, I think we discussed this, was it last year or the year before? That wind, all that's doing is blowing the stuff that can't swim against it. Bait can all swim against that shit.
Yeah.
It's the bait's food that
it's
can't.
The other shit,
so
and they chase it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if that's moving at a better clip and it gets packed up tightly,
fuck yeah.
There we go. America, fuck yeah.
America.
Alrighty, guys. We are going to take a short break, a very short break. We're going to hear from our good friends at Three Bells Outfitters. If you're looking to get your kayak maybe replaced, you're looking to upgrade, or you're considering a change in your boat, Three Bells is who you want to contact and set up a time to maybe take a look at some of their models, maybe see if you can set up some kind of a demo, and they're going to take good care of you with their white glove delivery service as well. You're not going to get screwed by shipping charges or have to be concerned about condition of your purchase upon delivery or anything. They're going to take real good care of you. Three Bells Outfitters, check them out. We'll hear from them, and then we're going to come back, and we've got the one, the only, Cupcake Coley. Coley is a great interview. We're glad to have her on. We learn a little bit more about Coley. I think more than anybody has actually ever taken a dive into, as far as is really understanding an angler. The essence of Coley. We'll be back after this, guys. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce that we're being supported by Three Bells Outfitters. Located in Smith Cove on the Niantic River, TBO is Connecticut's premier paddle sports retailer. They're a full-service shop specializing in kayaks and paddleboards for everything from recreation to tournament fishing. Three Bells is an authorized dealer of Hobie, Jackson, Feel Free, Native, and Bonafide kayaks, as well as many paddleboard brands. Not sure of what kind of SUP or kayak you want? TBO offers free demos of all brands. Want to go for an extended test drive? They have a full-service rental facility on site. Three Bells also offers a complete rigging service for your kayak with such brands as Yak Attack, Yak Gear, Burley Pro, Yak Power, Torpedo, and more. The sky is the limit. You can visit Three Bells Outfitters in person or online at threebellsoutfitters.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. Can't make it to the store to pick up your kayak or worried the freight company might damage your purchase? Three Bells Outfitters offers a white glove delivery of kayaks within a 225-mile radius of their store at a rate less than typical freight carriers. They will deliver your kayak, set it up, and answer any questions you may have. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to tell them Jigs and Bigs sent you. Three Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. Hey, what's up, guys? Bobby Roast Beef here with another interview segment on Jigs and Bigs. And this week in the beef seat, we've got Coley, the one and only Cupcake Coley on Instagram. You guys know her from her amazing photos, not just of amazing fish catches, but also like with rescuing waterfowl and all kinds of great stuff as well. Coley, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. This is going to be a lot of fun. I saw you on Bass and Brews, which I saw your initial interview on Bass and Brews, and then that kind of exploded from there and sort of went up. And I hope that Alex and Paul haven't ruined you for quality podcasts like what we're putting together here. Excellent. Let's talk about it. You know, this whole thing is all about just, fishing stories and everything else. And we're going to start at the beginning. Tell me, okay. Give me the Coley's history as far as fishing, how the sport was introduced to you. How did you develop a passion for it to the point now where, you're repping some companies and you're one of the Hookset Hoodlum pro staffers, which we're all fucked. But go ahead and explain to us what was the road like getting from the very beginning to now?
I can't. It's an interesting story. When I was a kid, my dad took me fishing once or twice because we would go camping with a youth group from the church. Really liked it, but it was nothing that we ever really did all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I had fun with it. And we were a very adventurous family. We did a lot of vacations together every year. So I always had that adventurous part in me. And I'd say maybe back in, 2014 or 15, one of my best girlfriends was from Idaho, and we were always doing crazy, crazy adventures together. And she got me into fishing. However, she liked to go trout fishing, and I had bass fished a few times with an ex-boyfriend years back. He actually had a lure company that I helped out with. So I got introduced to it then, but I didn't know how to trout fish. And for me, just sitting there, just a little, it wasn't enough for me, but we had a blast doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought, this is kind of fun. No big deal. A couple of years went by, I hadn't fished, and I started visiting my brother in Michigan. He lives in northern Michigan and has a beautiful home on the lake there. And every morning we would get up. I'd be up at the butt crack of dawn, waking the boys up. Come on, let's go. And we'd take his father-in-law's pontoon boat out, and the three of us would go. And let me tell you, the smack talking at 7 a.m. in the morning was priceless. We all had our coffee, and it was all a competition. Who is the first fish on? The biggest fish, the best fish, how many fish? Nothing but competition.
Yep.
And my brother always beat me. And I couldn't stand it because my whole life he's beat me. And I was like, man, I know I'm just a little sister, but I want to compete a little bit. So I kind of got hooked there. And every summer I would go back to Michigan, and it was like my birthday trip because my birthday's in July. Mm-hmm. So I'd fly back there, and every day we would go fishing. Some days he didn't really want to get up, but I'd be knocking on his door and, come on, we got to go. And we'd fish for 3 hours and then come in and have a big breakfast. And then I'd go fish by myself, like anywhere and everywhere I could find.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't you get bored? Like, don't you just get bored sitting out on the dock by yourself? I'm like, no. I'm like, I need to get out more. Well, fast forward to 2018, I was able to go to Michigan twice for my niece's wedding.
Cool.
And that was it.
Yep.
I was fishing so much and I was learning so much. And we primarily were doing drop shot is what my brother was teaching me how to do. And we just had the time of our lives. And I started beating him. And I remember, because I used to call him Shimano, the fish whisperer. And I remember I looked at him one day and I said, hey, Shimano, the student just beat the teacher. And he's like, oh, God, you beat me one time, just one time. But then the next day I beat him. And then the next day I beat him. So that was like my ignition, if you will, to want to continue. And when I got home, I was like, golly, I don't want to wait until July next year to go catch some more, largemouth bass and have some fun. So I grabbed my rod, and it wasn't a really nice rod, and I didn't really know what I was doing, and grabbed my dog at the time, and we went down to the local pond, and I just started doing what I could do. And before you knew it, I met some of the most amazing people there. It was just like this whole new world existed. And here I am in my little pink Chuck Taylors and my pink dog leash and my dog's little pink collar, walking around in a pink backpack trying to catch fish. And all of the locals really just took me under their wing. And man, they taught me some tips and tricks.
Yep.
And I was hooked. That was it. Like, there was no going back. So that summer, that was it, that July. And I was like, I'm doing this as often as I can before work, whenever I have a day off. And it really, really ignited it for me.
It's one of those things where it's like there's a point where eventually you just adopt it as part of a lifestyle. Like, it just happens. I do have a question. Was there a noticeable shift? Like, did you notice your brother begin to unravel in other parts of his life maybe when the little sister overtook him and was just like, put him in his place? Because that's got to be the greatest feeling ever.
It was pretty amazing because I love competition, and
Sure.
I grew up with two older brothers, and I know I'm never going to beat them. Like, they're always going to be better at sports. They're always, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Snow skiing, water skiing, whatever it is we did. But the smack talking was part of the fun for me. So
100%.
Even if I knew I was going to lose, even if I knew there was no way I was going to beat him, I would talk the best game. And then at the end of the day, we would just laugh. But I will have to say, when I leaned over and whispered, hey, Shimano, he kind of looked at me. I tell you what, my face, I didn't want to gloat, but my face lit up. And then this last year, when I went out in July, I actually went with three of my younger nephews, all adults, but younger, and taught one of them how to fish. But my brother wouldn't go fishing with me. I said, come on, get up. Let's go. He's like, I'm not getting up at 5:45 in the morning. You're crazy. He's like, you fish every day. It's pointless. I said, Rob, are you joking right now?
Yeah.
So that big baby wouldn't fish with me this summer because he said I was going to outfish him. So yes, I'd say something's changed.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
As far as stuff that you've picked up, like when you said you went back home and you started getting into the local fishing community and stuff like that, what's become your favorite season? Not so much like, when everybody says the spring. Everybody loves the spring. We know that. If you're a crazy person from the Northeast like me, sometimes people say the winter because they live for ice fishing. But for you, for the creature comforts, when it comes to Coley going out and just having a great day, what's the ideal season for you?
You know what? I absolutely adore summertime. So I'm in Southern California. We can fish all year round. It greatly slows down, and it's, pretty cold. I'm not used to cold weather. My warmest jacket, I think, is maybe a hoodie. I think I might have an old ski jacket, but I just love summertime because you can go, whether it's blazing hot, I'll go stand under the tree. I love the sunshine. I don't mind getting a little tan.
Yep.
You can fish until 9:00 at night and it's still 85 degrees and it's beautiful. The only thing you have to worry about are the bird-sized mosquitoes that get you. But I have a secret home remedy that I use that works. And actually I was passing it around to the guys at the pond and they're like, you got any more of that stuff? Because it works really well. It's just you're an unscented lotion of your choice. I use Jergens, I think coconut, and then you do 6 to 8 drops of eucalyptus oil, and you put that all over you, and then you got to wash your hands real good because it'll get on your bait and it'll make it smell. But
Gotcha.
you wash your hands real good, and it doesn't work as good in Michigan, but it still helps.
Mm-hmm.
But in California, they don't come near me. Like I can feel them, they bounce right off of me. But summertime for sure is my favorite time because I love hot weather. I love the sunshine. I just love being outdoors and in nature, and the fish are still biting really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I mean, I look at it like this. There's never a really bad, although actually, if I had to say that, correction, if I had to say there was a time that's just really, really bad for catching fish, it's now. Right now, this is the only time that's really, really bad because it's just brutal. I went out the other day and it was 27 degrees, you know.
I can't believe you did that. I think you put a picture up or something, and I was like, good God, that looks cold.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was covered head to toe. I looked like I was going out to like look for somebody lost in the mountains. It was ridiculous, but it's just like, you know, I had to scratch the itch, you know, and like right now it's actually pretty warm for the time of year. It's like 42 or 43 right now, which I'll take all day. But they just get so lethargic. It's so tough out there. But again, like in the summer, I mean, you know, you get out when you have like 100% humidity and it's 95 degrees and it's 2 p.m. You're like, it's like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas on the deck of the boat. Yes. You know what I mean? That's speaking of watercraft. Are you primarily fishing from the bank? Are you where do you prefer? Do you prefer a smaller boat like a kayak, or where do you fit in the spectrum?
So the last couple of years, I've been able to fish with one of the guys that I met at the pond.
Yep.
Kind of a funny story. His little boy, he was 4 years old at the time, came over to me and wanted to see my dog and wanted to play with her. And next thing you know, I'm talking to the dad. And well, the dad's an old pro fisherman from way back in the day, and he was teaching his son how to fish. Well, this little boy wouldn't leave me alone. I went on the other side of the lake, and he was screaming, "Coley, come over here and fish with me!" So I ended up becoming really good friends with them, and he has a beautiful 2018 Ranger.
Nice.
And his wife is actually my acupuncturist of over 20 something years.
Really?
She was yeah. So I went in to get treatment because I go in often for treatment. And she's like, "Oh, what have you been doing?" I said, "Oh, I fish every day." She's like, "Where?" And I'm like, "Across the street." She goes, "My son fishes there every day." And all of a sudden it dawned on me, this cute little Asian boy that had befriended me. I said, is your son's name Gregory? And she said, "Yeah. Are you the girl?" And I said, "I'm the girl." So she hates fishing, and she's like, "Will you please go fishing with my husband and my son and go out on their boat so I don't have to go?" And I was like, "Are you joking?" All day long. So I kind of go and nanny Greg and hang out with Greg and take care of him while I get to fish at the same time. So the last 2 years, I've been predominantly boat fishing.
That's awesome.
But then when he went to work, he's been gone for about 6 months, and his boat's been up at the Delta in Northern California. So I've had to learn how to bank fish a little bit more. Oh, yeah. Which is fine. It's just a lot tougher, you know. But I prefer to be on a boat. I've only kayak fished one time, and don't laugh at me because it wasn't on a fishing kayak. My brother had like, I don't know, some little cheap plastic standard kayak. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go out to the lily pads and I'm going to see what I can do. And hopefully I don't tip over. And I had fun. And one of my friends in Michigan, because I've made a ton of friends out there because I go every year. She's an avid fisherman as well, or angler, I should say. Paul will get mad at me if I don't say angler.
Oh, goodness, Paul.
So, right. So she took me out the last time I went. We spent the whole day together. And we loaded up kayaks and took them in the back of the truck. I borrowed a truck. I went and picked her up, and we fished on a river, which, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I've never been kayak fishing on a river. And then later on that night, we came back and we dumped off the kayaks and we went to a dam. We were looking for walleye. Didn't have any luck on the walleye, but I had a really good time on the kayak. It was awkward with my legs out in front of me and, you know, not having the right setup. But I am so interested in getting into it. I need to be able to try it before I go and drop, you know, $3 or $4 grand on the kayak that I want. So
No, that's
I
the
don't
right
want to
idea.
invest in it if I don't like it.
Exactly. You got to try. And, it's funny. So many people started in a recreational kayak. Like that was the first thing the first kayak I ever tried was a recreational kayak. And it was one of those things where it's weird. There's no lift on your backside. Like you're not up. Your legs are straight out in front of you.
Yeah.
And I have about 3 minutes before all of a sudden I lose all circulation in my legs. And I'm like, so I gotta, so for me, the sit on top sounded like a great idea right away because it gives me a little bit of lift.
Right.
And, it's just about kind of getting used to it. But there is something kind of nice because you don't have to worry about some of the obstacles that you might run into with somebody with a boat. Although I will say, I think you nailed it. Like maybe not even realizing it. I've said for years, the best watercraft to fish on is somebody else's boat. Because you know what I mean? It's like, I appreciate it. Here's some gas money and everything else. But, all that other maintenance and stuff, man, it's nice to not have to deal with it. It really, there's a lot. It gets into it. So I have begrudgingly, I've really fallen for kayak fishing. I think it's like the perfect sort of hybrid of everything. But I'm a bank angler at heart. I love it. I love being able to go, especially urban fishing, going in these spots where you're just like, I'm going to catch fish here. It's awesome. Yeah. It's great. It might be really difficult, but when it happens, it's like the reward is huge. So that's freaking awesome. As far as weather goes for you, where do you draw the line when you're going to call it a day?
I think it was I want to say it was last summer. We went out on the boat. We went to what I call my home lake. It's where we fish all the time, Lake Paris. Mm-hmm. And it's only about an hour and 15 minutes from here. And we were fishing all day. When we go out, he's old school. He's from Tennessee and Florida. So he's a old timer kind fisherman. And, mm-hmm. He jokes around all the time. People ask him, what'd you guys catch? And he's like, oh, I didn't catch nothing. I'm fishing with a 5-year-old and a girl. That's his whole shtick. But mm-hmm. We go out for 10 plus hours, and I love it. I'm not going to complain. I bring my own stuff. I keep it nice and neat in the corner. I organize the boat. I don't want to say I know my place on the boat, but it is somebody else's very expensive boat. I know my place, and I'm more than willing to help out. So we went out, and I think it was 105 degrees. But in that particular reservoir, you can jump in the water. So I take a bathing suit along, and when it gets too hot, I'll dip in every once in a while.
Yep.
And I think it was 4:00 in the afternoon, and we were coming up on hour 10 or 11.
Yep.
And I think I was just done. I was dehydrated, and we went into where the marina was, and it got windy, and the waves were so big. And I grew up on a boat, so I don't have seasickness or anything.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, that day, something didn't sit well with me, and I got a migraine and I got nauseous. I stayed out for another hour, and then finally I was like, hey, Greg, I don't feel so well. Maybe it's time we head in. He's like, yeah, it's late. Let's go. I ended up getting something called land sickness, which I didn't know about, but I guess it's like being seasick, but I got it when I got home. I thought I was on the boat for 4 days, just waves rolling. I couldn't stand up. I was falling over. Yeah. I had to ask somebody in the Coast Guard. I was like, hey man, what's going on? And they're like, oh yeah, it's land sickness. We get it all the time. And I stuck it out for an extra hour. So I'm pretty diehard. It's gotta be pretty windy, or I've got to be frozen to the bone for an hour into it. And then I'm like, hey man, my fingers are turning white. I got to go. But usually it doesn't come to that. Usually my boater is usually on board with me. They're feeling the same thing that I'm feeling. And if I'm fishing by myself, I was kind of not real smart on Christmas night. And I snuck out. I'm on doctor's orders not to fish right now because I have a torn tendon.
Yep.
But it was Christmas night, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for an hour by myself. So it was pitch black out, and all I had on was my white Converse and a thin pair of jeans. And I think I had my dust off fishing hoodie.
Yep.
And that's what I went out in, and a little headband thing to cover my ears, like a ski bunny thing. And it wasn't too bad. It was in the high 40s, and it started raining. And I was like, I don't care. Rain never hurt anyone. I was out there for 2 hours, and I couldn't feel my feet. So when I went to leave, a buddy of mine showed up from the pond that I fish with often. I hadn't seen him. They're like, where you been? You haven't been here. And was like, all right, I'll hang out for 20 minutes. And I like stomped away like Frankenstein because I couldn't feel my feet anymore.
Yeah.
So I will stay until I get a fish or I physically can't stay anymore. It's one or the other.
No, that's awesome. Sometimes it's just how it is though, you know?
Yeah.
What's your preferred body of water to fish? Like, are you more about larger lakes that you can break down a chunk at a time? Are you looking to pond hop or find a pond and just break down the whole thing in an afternoon? Or are you like where you've kind of got the bug for current, where river systems are where it's at for you?
You nailed it right there. So this last summer, I was able to go to Oklahoma to visit some friends of mine. Actually, Sawyer Buck is my fishing buddy. He just turned 7 and he's into bass fishing. And when I go out to Oklahoma, that's who I fish with. And we went to the Illinois River and got a Zodiac boat and, you know, family trip, jumped in there. But I tell you what, I've never had so much fun in my entire life fishing. Like, what a blast.
Yeah.
Fishing off the Zodiac with the current, paddling to get to a spot, pulling over. He and I waist deep in the water. You know, we were all fishing and catching, and there were smallmouth and gar and largemouth and white bass and these carp I've never seen before, buffalo carp, and they're huge, and you can sight fish them. And I tell you what, I got the river bug. So I went back 2 more times. I think my last trip was in October, and I'm waiting for that warm weather because I'm headed back, and I cannot wait to go.
That's awesome.
So, but here I would say I prefer a big lake. A big lake on a boat. If I'm bank fishing, then I'll pond hop. I mean, we don't have a ton of great ponds here because they're very, very city, urban, you know, cement, extremely high pressure. The pond that I fish with my pond buddies, there's about six to eight of us that fish. It's so high pressured. And it's like if one person's throwing a rattle trap, we're all throwing rattle trap. If one person's throwing a thin singo, we're all throwing a thin singo. If somebody's throwing a chatterbait, we're all throwing a chatterbait. So it's a matter of days. Like, you know, we'll catch, and then it's like the fish catch on. And ever since COVID, everybody's there. Like everyone and their mom went out and got a rod, and they're out there just, you know, throwing chicken and shrimp, and they're just feeding the fish left and right. So it's been a struggle, but I kind of like that challenge. I do enjoy the challenge.
Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely do agree. I like a little bit more of a challenge now. You've traveled a bunch and you've done a lot of fishing in other areas. What's on your bucket list? Like what body of water is like, actually give me like your top 3. Where would you really like to go and wet a line?
Okay, I am headed this spring. I haven't picked a date yet to Austin, Texas to fish with my buddy Texas Bass Babe. And there's a couple other friends out there, Jay Gone Fishing and Fish Texas, Nathan. They all live out there. So we're planning to do a day together, and wherever it is they want to take me. I know Rayburn has been talked about a lot on a lot of different people that I follow in Texas. Wherever they want to take me, I'm kind of like, if I can just go and fish with my friends, like that's my bucket list this year, is to go travel and fish with friends. And then my next destination will again be in Oklahoma, but I want to fish with Thurman Outdoors because they're out there. Also, Lisa Outdoors, she's out there as well. We've connected, so I'm really looking forward to that. Bass and Basins is also, I believe they're Texas, but they go to Oklahoma too. So we're going to figure something out, and I'm going to go fish with them. So I loved the Grand. I had a blast on the Grand. I want to go do that, but we went crappie fishing. I want to go hit largemouth and, see if I can get a little bit more smallmouth in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've got some things that I'm looking forward to. And as far as bodies of water, like I'd love to go up to the Delta. I'm actually trying to get my buddy Greg to go get his boat this week. I'm like, hey, I'm off till the end of the year. Let's go. Like we'll drive up a day, we'll fish a day, we'll come back. But I'm not sure if we're going to pull it off, but I would love to fish the Delta and Clear Lake as well in Northern California. And just all these awesome streams and ponds that you guys have. Like I was watching Dust Off Fishing's YouTube. And him and Ryan were out in their kayaks, and the blow up that they were getting in these backwoods streams. Like I don't get that. Yeah. Because where I fish, it's so high pressured they hit it hard like a train under the water, but I'm not getting that like huge, wild blow up. And I'm dying to get that. Like I just, wherever I can find that, that's what's on my bucket list for sure.
Gotcha. No, I definitely can see that. What about like baits? Like what's your top 3 list look like for confidence baits?
I am predominantly a finesse angler. And this year I would really, really, really like to get into throwing a lot more. I mean, I've thrown spinners and I've thrown chatter and rattle traps and lipless, and I'm just not confident in it yet. But I did buy a new rod this year, an old 18. I think it was the Ambush. And then I have a Shimano DC. I treated myself. That was my Christmas present. That's actually on back order until April. So I'm just patiently waiting for that to come. And then I'm going to start. I got all the lures. I don't have a heavy enough rod for it. I don't have the right reel. So my confidence baits are 100%, Yamamoto Senko and Robo Worms are what my go-tos. I got introduced to Third Eye Fishing, which makes an amazing dojo worm. They kill it in Michigan. It kills it in Oklahoma. I mean, every time I would catch a fish with one, that sucker would hit it so hard, I'd lose my worm. I'd be so pissed off because I couldn't get a picture with the bait. And I'm like, Max, I swear. I'm like, I caught it on this. I went through, I think, I took 6 bags with me to Michigan and I came back with nothing. Like, they were gone because my buddy's like, give me some of those. I'm like, get your own bait. But of course I shared because it was his boat. But
yeah, of course.
Third Eye's been awesome. I got some amazing baits from Unicorn that I cannot wait to throw when I get cleared to officially go. Like, I'm just kind of sneaking in at night, every once in a while just to test it out. But I stayed out too long on Christmas and I felt it the next day. So
I bet.
I'm like, okay, maybe a couple more weeks. But yeah, I'm a soft plastic girl. I just love my Robos and my Senkos. I just love.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's one of the things this year that I've really sort of fallen in love with was a creature bait Ned rigged. Like I think it does everything. It's awesome. It's kind of like Old Faithful, Yep. But it's like, I love finesse fishing. I really, really just enjoy it. And I'm the same way. This year I tried to spend more time. I finally caught a fish on a spinnerbait this year, just this fall.
Right on.
I've been killing them with swim jigs because jigs are one of the my confidence baits. And it's just, you got to play around with stuff. And there's, when people talk about, this is what I think is crazy about not just fishing, but the way it happens at fishing. It happens everywhere with people. There's always this like contest of like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like, a lot of people will use bait casting gear exclusively as if it somehow makes you a superior angler. You know what I mean? And it's just
I get that a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, no. Yeah. And if you're a golfer, does that mean you're not going to use a putter when you're on the green? Are you going to use a freaking one wood to putt with? It's like, I mean, you need the right tool for the job. So like, if you dig finesse fishing, there's so much stuff you can do. The Nico rig was the one that I experimented with this year a lot. I want to give it a little bit more time. It's not like I've got it like nailed down, but man, I'll tell you, like a Ned, it works so good, and you can change out soft plastics.
Trying that. Yeah. I've been trying it, and so far I have not had any luck on the Ned. And I've watched videos on the different ways you can fish it. I've reached out to some of my Instagram friends and like, hey, I know you're a big, Ned user. Like, help me out. I can't get it to work yet, but I'm not giving up on it. But the Nico Craw from Third Eye, I did have luck on that. And that took me about, I'd say 5 or 6 weeks to perfect. Yeah. And I was using the wrong hook. I switched up to a wide gap octopus hook. Yep. And man, that was it. That was the key. I just had to switch up my hook. And, but I do love it. I do love all that Kitech swim baits. Man, you even put the 3-inch or the 2-inch Kitech little fishy on a drop shot. And I had a guy making fun of me one day. He's like, ma'am, you don't know what you're doing. I said, okay. And I kept fishing, and I'd never seen him at the pond before. And he says, are you really going to continue to fish that way? And I said, I'm good. Thank you. And he's like, want me to come over there and show you how to fish? Oh, I said, no, sir. Thank you. I'm good. Right. Within about 10 minutes, I caught a giant fish. Right. And he's like, did you just catch that on that same setup? I said, yes, sir, I did. oh, okay. So 10 minutes goes by. Guess what? I got another one. It was about 2 pounds. And he goes, I got to come over and apologize to you. He's like, I'm over here telling you don't know what you're doing. He goes, clearly, I'm the one that doesn't know what I was doing. I said, no worries, man. Here, try this out.
Yep.
So it was pretty cool. And I do like to kind of do some things that are a little bit off the beaten path, you know, throw some things that maybe people aren't throwing because the fish are used to everything. So I kind of, sometimes I'll create. I kind of will cut something here and add something there. But whatever gets the job done.
It's so funny. There's a couple of reservoirs around here that are drinking water reservoirs, and you know, it's bank fishing only. And I've fished with a great friend of the show. She contributes a bunch. Ellie Noel. I'm not sure if you've heard of Ellie. Ellie in the Wild.
I do. Yeah.
Ellie's awesome. We fished, and every time that we fished together, she has outfished me. I've walked away skunked. And same thing, like she'll just like sort of invent the rig that she's using. I was on Champlain this fall, and I'm one of the biggest struggles that I've had is deep water fishing. Like for me, it's not just because, you know, I've spent such limited time off the bank. Getting out to like 30 plus, 40 plus feet of water is not super common with a lot of the bodies of water that I fish. So we're up at Lake Champlain and we're fishing this one hole. It's like, you know, 40, 45 feet deep, something like that, 30 foot. And I'm throwing a drop shot there, probably the heaviest drop shot I've ever thrown. Just used the biggest weight that I had just to get it down to the bottom. And I was using exactly that. I think it was like a 2.8 inch Kitech, like tiny little white Kitech paddle tail. And, you know, I was catching 16 inch smallies down that deep on the lightest gear possible. And it's such a rush. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely amazing.
I love it.
When it comes to Ned rigs, it's so funny. This year I sort of had a revelation. I was kind of buying in the same weight as like a lot of the other jigs that I would throw, anywhere from like a quarter. I wouldn't go up to a half ounce, but like a quarter up to like, that was about as heavy, between an eighth and a quarter actually. And this year, the game changer for me was going down a size. I would go to like 3/32 seconds or a 16th, and going down. And I use the EWG Neds so that I've got a little bit more confidence when I throw them in the cover. And what a difference, you know, with like a flat creature bait, they fall so much more like natural, and I've found that I get way more bites based off of that. It's just it's awesome. So like you got to experiment with these kinds of things, you know. It's like whenever I'm buying terminal tackle, I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, so let's get a little crazy with this. Let's get some, you know, if I'm getting drop shot weights, I'll buy out of my comfort zone, you know, so I've got a handful of things if I need to mix it up. It's unbelievable. Let's get back on track. This is a good one. This is a long-standing question. Is this one is you've heard the saying before that fishing tackle catches more fishermen than it actually will catch fish. In your opinion, anything that you've come across, what do you think is the most ridiculous fishing tackle trend that the industry, like as a whole, has kind of given us? Have you used it, and how did it work?
Golly, I don't know. That's a tough question. I mean, like I said, I strictly fish finesse for the most part. I mean, I see a lot of guys throwing out the bobbers with the lights, which I don't really understand. I mean, I know it's red and green and the bass are supposed to see red and green, but I mean, I haven't really come across too many things that are ridiculous, because everyone that I'm fishing with is throwing pretty much the same thing that I am, or if they're throwing crankbaits or something like that, they're pretty legit. I mean, they're old timers in the sense that they've been doing it for a long time, and they're a little bit older than me, and they kind of teach me. So I haven't really seen personally. And now you got me curious. Now I want to know, like, what's yours? What do you see?
Well, so the stuff that I see that I just think is ridiculous is one of the big ones is the themed topwater baits. And I totally expected you to pick one of these too, specifically the duck lure.
Oh,
I totally thought you were going to pick the duck lure.
It works. And I know, I mean, I personally, I just can't bring myself to throw it. I have nothing against duck hunters. I get it. I understand it. I got no qualms. Everyone who hunts, like, whatever. I can't throw a duck lure because then it's teaching my bass to go after the little ducklings that I rescue. But I've seen it work. I mean, nobody at the pond throws it, and nobody on the lakes I've seen, but I've seen a lot of pictures. And I've actually seen a lot of people like to send me, I don't know why they send it to me, but they like to send me the picture of the largemouth bass with the little baby duckling inside. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really, that's cool. Like, I get it, but I don't know why you're sending it to me. But
Exactly.
yeah, that one seems kind of goofy, but I get it because, I mean, that's what they're eating, right? I mean, the larger bass are going to eat the little ducklings.
The one that I'm thinking of specifically, and I forget who put it out, but it looks like a rubber ducky. Like it's not really. Yeah, it looks like a rubber. It's like, you got to be kidding me. This isn't fooling anybody. It's nuts. That's one that's been really popular. The first one I think of anyway. We've had people say like the banjo minnow, but you bring up a good point. Those bobbers that light up, I never thought they were to attract the fish. I thought they were just for night fishing. That's kind of what I just had assumed.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because the way that the cones and the eye of the bass work, they predominantly see green and red is what I was told. And that's why like on your headlamp, you got the green light, you got the red light, like when it flashes down on your headlamp. I don't know. I don't fish like that, but I see all the guys coming in there, the trout fishermen, they always got their light up bobbers on there. And I don't see them pulling in a lot, so I don't know if it's working.
I don't know if it's, especially trout, they're so spooky. Stalkers are stupid, though. I mean, but trout specifically. I love this question. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'm a firm believer in if you're with the right people, and the fishing can be god-awful, but it could be the most amazing outing. What are your top 3 people that you would love to fish with? And those 3 people, they can be living or dead. They can be celebrities or people you know. It doesn't matter.
You know, I've never actually really thought about that.
Most people haven't. They just kind of go fish. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You got me. Let's see. Top 3 people that I would like to fish with, living or dead. You know what? I'm just going to go with my Instagram family, to be honest with you.
There you go.
I'm going to go with Edie, Bass Queen.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm actually, I forgot to mention that. I'm actually planning to hook up with her when I'm in Michigan this summer.
Nice.
She hit me up last year and I was already out for the whole day. I'm like, my family will kill me if I take another day out to go fishing. I would love to fish with her because she's an amazing person. Yep. I appreciate her skills. She is so well versed. She's, bank or boat, positive attitude, inspirational. Oh, yeah. Just a kick-ass angler all the way around. Mm-hmm. And she makes me laugh. That's where the whole snort sister thing came in. I commented on a post. I said, I just snorted. And she's like, I snort all the time. I'm like, hopefully we don't pee our pants. And so it's this whole joke we have going on.
Oh, I was curious.
Yeah, it's just because every time she does these silly, goofy things, and I'm silly and goofy and quirky, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so me. So we have this like connection where we're kind of quirky, and we snort. And I think, I don't know if you've heard me or not, but I've snorted on Bass and Brews, I think maybe 3 or 4 times, and I can't help it. Like I just point to my nose, and I'm like, yeah, I snorted.
It happens.
The other person too, who's been a huge cheerleader for me and a huge inspiration, and I just admire the heck out of her, is Texas Bass Babe. And again, I'm going to fish with her in the spring, and she's going out for the major tournaments this year. She's stepping up her game, and that's a lot when you're not a boater. And I don't want to really bring it up, but because I hate it, I hate focusing on that. But being a female angler in the tournament world, it has been amazing for the few that I have done. But mine are lady slayers, so it's all women. But the support I've gotten has been awesome. But even when I go and fish with new guys, like I go to a new spot, I'm by myself. Here's a girl out there, fishing in shorts and a hoodie, and you draw attention unwillingly, right? Yeah. And I always get a little worried, like, oh man, I got my knife, I got my pepper spray. I have the best experiences with people offering to help me or saying, right on, great catch. And it's been a completely different experience than what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And Tiffany going out and doing this, like, man, that chick's got some balls on her, and I appreciate her. She's going to kill it. And she's just been an awesome, awesome influence on me as well. And then I'm going to pick the person who has been a huge inspiration to me, family guy, all around great American. And I'm going with Dust Off Fishing, Brandon, because that dude just kills it, man. In a year, he has gone from starting his page to, I don't know what he's at, 8,000-9,000 followers, and he's like, I follow his page because he's constantly trying something new.
Yep.
And he's constantly showing like, hey, you know, on his YouTube channel, like, hey, this one works, this one didn't. Or
Yep.
I think I was watching something last night, and he had lost a fish. But it's like, I love seeing real people. I love seeing their triumphs, and I love seeing their downfalls.
The
SQ
journey,
Loverland. Greg posted today. He had a huge bass on the line, huge largemouth, and he had it on video, and he was trying to get it, but it got tied up in his trolling motor, and he lost it.
Oh,
and the fact that he posted it, like, hey, I've been catching all these big fish, but I also, you know, have lost some really big ones. It just kind of, it brings you back to your humbleness. And I think there's so much humility in fishing. You know, it's like, you can go out there and be the superstar, but dang, dude, you know, you got to go out there and grind. It's not like going out for an hour catching 20 fish. Like some days I'll be out there for 10 hours catching maybe 2 or 3. Other days I might get lucky and catch 12, but in Southern California, I have yet to have a day where I catch more than 12. It's tough, but those are 3 of the people that I'm going to choose based on the fact that, you know, we got a lot of Instagram followers that watch your show. And these are 3 of the people that I admire. I have so many others that I admire as well, but you said pick my top 3, and that's my 3 go-to. And they just have great spirits, and they're great family people. And I really, really look forward to maybe one day getting to fish with all of them.
That's awesome. Cause that's the thing. It's like, because of the technology, social media and everything, we can connect with these people in different other areas. And you kind of get like, a window seat to kind of see their journey as you're going through your own, and you develop and you grow together as anglers, as people. Like it all kind of works together. So I think that's for me. If somebody asked me the same question, I would say exactly that. I'd say the people that I've had on the show, you know, I want to go fish with largemouth sass in Louisiana, you know, and, you know, secretly be fearing for my life because of gators down there, you know, stuff like that. Hey, if we get skunked, it's fine. We can go eat some great food in New Orleans. It'll be fine. You know, I mean, like stuff like that. I'd love to connect with especially like the guests that we've had on the show. Like, I think that is awesome. I got the chance to fish with, I fished with Todd Grubbs, fishing Grubbs, and he's like the most down to earth guy. Unbelievable. Like I've watched his YouTube stuff for the longest time, and have followed him on social media. I fished with Becca, fishing with Becca, and she's an absolute hammer. She's great. She's unbelievable. You know, and it's just like you meet these people, and you know, I say meet them. I mean, you get to know them through social media and commenting on stuff, and then you get to go out and, you know, spend a day on the water fishing with them, and it's this amazing experience overall, you know. So it's good stuff. Like I'll never forget the first time I fished with Delirious Angler. Like,
did you wear the clown thing?
Oh yeah, 100%. In fact,
I told him, dude, you can't wear that if we fish together, man. You guys scare the pants off me.
Wild Bill had texted me before I had gone fishing with him. In all seriousness, was like, I think you might want to reconsider today's trip. You know, careful. Just be careful. I think this guy's a maniac.
No.
And then he was on the show, and people got to know him. And I mean, D is just like an absolute teddy bear. He's awesome. And
I was gonna say he's a total teddy bear. So I actually reached out to him after the Thanksgiving send-off, Thanksgiving special for Bass and Brews. I reached out to him, and I was like, hey man, you know, I'm looking at different kayaks because I am really interested, but until I get my butt in one and try it out, I'm not going to do anything. We video chatted back and forth, and I don't know if you know, but I'm a bartender, and I have 4 major bartending gigs and live event venues that are huge. And then I also nanny for a couple families left over from COVID. I fell in love with them, and I figured why not do it on my days off. Yeah, so I'm in line at the school pickup line, which if you've ever had to do that, oh my God, that's a nightmare.
I know.
But those people
Tell me, I got 2 daughters.
Insane. The moms are insane, and the teachers like cutting me off and stuff. I'm like, oh, one of these days, Karen, I'm gonna run you over. But no. But I was waiting in line, and I was video chatting with him back and forth, and we had so much fun. His were coming in upside down and right side up, and I think mine were too. But he was so kind to me, and he really, you know, taught me a lot. And then I got a chance to interview him, And like I said, I don't know anything about kayaks, but boy, did I learn a lot. And I was taking notes like a little nerd.
Yep.
I was over there writing down, what's the top things that a beginner kayak angler needs. And I got my list ready, but he's an awesome dude for sure. I'd love to fish with the hooks at Hoodlum, man. That would be, if we got us all together in one place, I think that'd be a blast.
This past summer, we did the Old Glory Invitational as an event. It was a kayak tournament, and afterwards we had this big meetup where everybody we got to, most of us had never met Cody Lachwood, we had never met him.
Yeah.
And he was up there. I mean, it was just a bunch of us. OG Scuba Steve was up there. It was amazing.
He's rad, yeah.
And we did this. Anybody who's ever listened to Jigs and Bigs knows that Sean and I, we ain't right. You know what I mean? We're a little messed up. We're certainly not. We're amongst the oldest of the circle of folks. We certainly are not the most mature. We might even be the most immature. And we decided we'd have this.
That's the most fun.
Yes, that's what I said. That's exactly it. That's my background. That's what I do. I do fun. I'm a game show host. I work in bars 5 nights a week. So I'm all about fun. And we just had this get together, and I figured we called it Boats and Scroats, and we made everybody Rocky Mountain oysters. And OG Scuba Steve was the only one who would not eat one.
Yeah, I'm with Steve. I wouldn't do it either. I'm with you, OG. Not happening.
Everybody else, they loved them. It was great. Folks were putting them on slices of pizza and just mixing it up. It was great. It was good. It was my first time ever making them too, so it was pretty interesting.
How do you even are the recipes easily defined?
YouTube is a magical thing. It really. If you deep fry anything, it's going to be good. So I used my recipe for when I do fish fries and stuff.
Gotcha.
And we just made it happen, but it was a mission. 8 pounds of bull testicles is what. There's a video on IGTV that you can see. I brought everybody through the journey. I left the butchering video out of it. Yeah, it was great. But eventually, we want to see this grow and grow and grow and grow to the point where we can find some time on a major fishery somewhere in the country. Everybody plans out their calendar months in advance, and we can get together and do this sort of stuff as a family of anglers and have a great time. I think it would be absolutely amazing. So we'll see what happens.
I can't even imagine. My face would hurt after about an hour from laughing and smiling so much. All of y'all have been so good to me and so much fun. And it's the more I get to know everybody, it's man, this is perfect fit.
Yep.
I'm definitely, cupcakey and, I was raised a good little Christian girl, but I still have a little bit of that hood side to me that comes out every once in a while. And it's a perfect fit, grew up with older brothers. So I feel like all y'all are my brothers, and just appreciate every one of you. And, Underwater Robberies is the one that got me into it all in the first place. And man, it's just grown from there, and it's been awesome.
We're all just a little bit ratchet, and I love it. It's spectacular. So you mentioned that you worked in live music venues and stuff. So this is a music related question. Sean and I are huge into music. We kind of like it all. We really do. We like all sorts of different things. What is it that you listen to either while you're on the water, if you listen to music while you're fishing, or on your way to the water to get you hyped up? What is it that's playing in your earbuds?
I really, really, really love country music. I'm metal and punk and alternative at my core, but that gets me a little too amped up. So I found country about 4 years ago. So that kind of mellow. I got a lot of energy. I got a ton of energy. So it kind of makes it a little bit more even keel. Yep. But if I'm fishing at the pond by myself, I usually have my phone in my back pocket, got everything. I put my backpack down and everything is easily accessible in my pockets. I stick my extra lures in my sports bra, and I got my knife in my pocket, all my good stuff. And I got country playing on the back of my phone. And then if we go out on the water, we don't usually listen to music because we're running 2 different fish finders. We got a Lowrance 16 in the back, which is the one that I use. And then he has a smaller one up in the front that he uses. So we're out for so long. We're trying not to run any battery down. So we just kind of smack talking when I do that. But I'd have to say country, whatever. I love Chase Rice. I like old country, but I do like the new country. Kind of gives it a little bit of pizzazz, and it just kind of pumps me up and keeps me even keel.
So I'm going to make a musical recommendation that I think is right up your alley. It's sort of this mix of, punk rock and country. It's a Western Mass favorite. Angry Johnny and the Killbillies. You can thank me later.
That's a cool name.
Yeah,
okay.
Angry. They've been around forever. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard from. And it's been a while. It's been quite a while. Angry Johnny and the Killbillies. Look them up. You'll appreciate them.
I like that.
I think you'll like them a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check them out. That sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's right up your alley. Because, I'm a DJ. I listen to everything. Stuff that people would assume. They're like, oh, yeah, you're not into this. And I'm like, you would be surprised.
Yeah.
And it's...
I DJ'd for a while. That's crazy. I didn't realize you were a DJ.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Almost 30 years I've been doing it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's a tough job. I did it for about 6 months, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm out. I can't do this."
Yeah,
it's tough.
It is. It's crazy. I love owning my own business. That's great. That's the best part. But doing the events, that's easy. That's the easy part. Finding the events and generating that work. That's the real work.
I just couldn't deal with everybody coming up to the DJ booth. Can you play this? Can you play that? And I'm like, no, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't like that song. I'm like, that song sucks.
Exactly.
So it didn't work out too well for me.
No, dealing with people is not my strong suit. So lots of times.
That's funny.
Yeah. Lots of times what I do now, I'll use technology to help out. I'll have people text requests and I'll just ignore.
That's cool.
Just play
that's good.
It does kind of help.
I say I don't like dealing with people, but yet my job is nothing but 100% people oriented.
Yep.
I have to smile, and as you're pissed at me that there's no alcohol in your double drink that you watch me pour right in front of you. And
exactly. Isn't that amazing?
Thank you very much. Have a lovely day. Yeah.
So
inside my head, I'm throat punching them, but I'm like, big smile, just like corporate. You're the best. Have a great night.
Have a great night. Take good care. Feel free to leave a review.
Yeah, right. Oh, gotta love the reviews.
So I'm interested in this one. What is your most unusual talent? And this can either be fishing related or not.
I don't know. I don't know if it's unusual, but maybe seeing my page, you wouldn't think. I'm an excellent baker. And actually the name Cupcake Coley came from, I was actually going to do a baking blog and a baking page.
Really?
But then I used to do pinup. So I was into pinup for about 10 years. So all of my pictures were me as done up as a pinup with the big red roses and the corsets and holding, 1950s, kind of cake and just that whole thing.
Yep.
But then I quickly realized that I had to share my recipes, and I was like, yeah, no, that's
you don't want to do that. Yeah.
So no, I was like, wait, what? Like, no, you're just going to look at my pictures and like it. So I very quickly decided against that. And I just kind of kept the name and I don't know if you know this or not, because you and I just started following each other, recently in a few months. But my page wasn't an all fishing page. It was actually my personal page from when I started it 5-6 years ago. I just started posting fish pictures and it kind of started taking off. And I was like, whatever, I'm not going to take anything down. And as I started, developing more and more, I thought, well, maybe that picture of me when I was 15 years old with my Billy Idol haircut doesn't need to be on there anymore. And maybe, take this one down. So I ended up deleting, I think, 2,300 pictures.
Oh my God. Wow.
To try to make it more, because I like I told you, I'm an open book, and I share my life because I'm pretty goofy. I'm pretty quirky and I'm easy to laugh with, to laugh at, however you want to look at it. So my skill, as you say, my talent would be that I can bake almost anything. And if I can't, I will find a way to do it. And I used to ask people for their birthday, what's your favorite dessert? Oh, you can't make it. You can't make it. I'm like, just tell me what it is. And I would try it at home and I would throw whole pies and whole cakes and everything in the trash because I was like, this didn't work out and I would perfect it. And I learned that from my mom. She's an excellent baker. So maybe that's something a little bit different because everybody always sees me hiking and fishing and, running around in the sauna at the gym. But I'm actually Susie Homemaker, if you can believe that. I'm hardcore adventurer, but when it comes to everything else, I would belong in the 1950s with my high heels and a dress, cooking up, a good meal and serving up a fresh baked cake. That would definitely be my jam for sure.
So if somebody were to say to you, hey, so let's say we're doing a potluck, a Hookset Hoodlums family potluck, right? And we're like, Coley, just bring a dessert. What's your go-to? What would you bring to that party?
Well, I always take into account that people have nut allergies and, different things.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably bring 2 or 3 different assortments to please everyone. So I can't stand lemon flavored anything, but for whatever reason, people love lemon bars.
Yeah, they do.
Mine actually taste pretty good because I don't like lemon, so I made them taste even better.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make a lemon bar. I would probably make a triple chocolate fudge brownie, double batter. So they would come out about, 1.5 inches thick, and they'd be crusty on the outside and nice and chewy on the inside.
Yep.
And then I'd have to say my mom's recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Because hands down, her recipe, her cookies are better than mine. I still don't know how she does it. I do the same damn recipe, but I just can't get it like hers. But every time I make them, they're gone. So I would probably say they're finger foods and easy. And that way there's some chocolate and there's some fruit flavored stuff. But if I knew ahead of time that somebody had a hate grade for cheesecake or, my favorite is German chocolate, whatever, I would definitely go out of my way to make that direction. Just to say, hey, I made you something a little extra special.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
That's kind of crazy. I know, something a little weird. Not a lot of people know that, but I love to bake for sure.
That's awesome. And it is, baking and cooking are 2 totally different skills. My wife is amazing when it comes to baking. I have eaten so many, like when you were talking about throwing things in the trash, I would tell her, I'm like, you save those cookies. I will bring them to work and they will have a place. Do not waste them. And she's like, but they're a little bit burnt on the bottom. I'm like, no, they have a place.
It's such a pride thing though. Like if I make you cookies and you haven't eaten them all in 2 days and I go to your house, when you're not looking, I'm throwing them in the trash. Yeah. Because you got to eat my cookies fresh because they're chewy and they're perfect. And you don't want to get them dried out or anything. So I don't want my name. Yeah, I don't want my name on a bad product and somebody caught me. Are you really going to throw those cookies in the trash? I'm like, hey man, you didn't eat them.
Yeah, exactly.
You better get those out of there. Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Definitely.
Oh man. Now let's see. As far as like fishing goals and stuff, where would you like to see fishing take you in the next 5 to 10 years? Like where's your trajectory as far as your vision?
Oh, that's another. These questions, you're getting me good today. I would really like to be more diverse and have an extensive amount of knowledge in different types of fishing, different types of body. I think I would really enjoy like going for the tournaments, like how Texas Bass Dave is doing. Like she's killing it, and that's impressive to me because my work schedule is crazy. Yeah. The 1 day off a week that I have, I'm rescuing ducks or whatever. So it's really hard to find the time. And during Lady Slayers, I had a hard time, asking time off of work because as a bartender, I got to work weekends, plus the money you got to spend for everything. But I would love to take on that platform and maybe be where Bass Queen is at right now. Like I admire her so much, and I'm not asking for pro status, top of the whatever, but I would definitely like to head towards that direction. For sure. If time permits. And, I love knowledge. I love to learn. Yep. I actually hit up a buddy of mine. I said, hey, we got to go fishing. I need to learn more about the cold water. And because I'm so confident and so comfortable in my finesse that but I need to branch out. I need to get out there and do more and show myself that I can do more. Like, I know I can. I believe in myself. I just gotta, when I get to a good spot, I don't like to try new things because when am I going to get out here again? When am I going to be on a boat again? So I try it for maybe an hour and I go back to finesse because I know I'm going to catch and I'm out there to catch. Yeah, exactly. So I got to get out of that mindset, and just say, this is the day for exploration and learning. So that's kind of where I'd like to go.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. I love this next question. It is a gear question. I think it's a lot of fun. So Sean and I have booked our flights for Southern California. We're on our way there, and we got the Jigs and Bigs corporate card in our hot little hands, and we are going to an unnamed body of water. We don't know the conditions. You don't know what body of water it's going to be. We're just going to pick a place on a map. That's where we're going to fish. Now, you can go to your local tackle shop or a Bass Pro or something and build a combo. What we're looking for is the rod you would choose, the reel you would choose, and the line that you would choose. Right, it's basically what we're looking at. Like, you could build that one combo to do, and this might be a combo that exists in your arsenal already. And if you want to use that as an example, then go for it.
Okay, my reel is going to be my Stratic because I absolutely adore it and love it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with 8-pound fluoro.
Okay.
Because I don't know exactly what I'm getting, but I know it's strong enough to handle a 10-pound bass, but I don't want to go too light, so I'm going to go 8-pound. And then the rod I'm going to choose, I'm a diehard Phoenix girl. I'm dying to try out their, oh gosh, I don't even know. I can't even pick one rod. I'm so stuck on my Tennessee grip rod. I just love it, the way that it fits and the way that it feels. So I don't know. You know what? I'll go with my Mojo Bass. I really like my Mojo Bass from St. Croix.
Yep.
Because it's a little bit heavier, a little bit sturdier. I'm going to go 8-pound test with my Stratic. And you said I have to pick the body of water, or
no. We don't even know what it is. Yeah, we don't even know what it is.
Okay.
That's awesome. That's a great combo. That's absolutely
awesome.
awesome.
Because if I have only one, right? I only have one rod, I only have one reel, right? So I'm not into the baitcaster world yet, but this way I can throw something that's a little bit heavier.
Yes.
But I can always go back and throw my thin Senkos and my Kitex and all the lovelies that I love to throw. So I feel I'd be most confident with that setup.
No, that's awesome. I think that's awesome. It's so funny. I just started playing around with Phoenix the second half of the summer. Gravy fishing, actually. It hooked me up. It's so unbelievably, like, out of nowhere. I was talking about looking into maybe getting a lighter heavy rod baitcaster for frogging. And he says, he's like, I got this one rod. It's not doing anything. It's yours if you want it, man. I was like, I'll give it a shot. It's a 7'7" heavy, extra fast from Phoenix, and I have a Shimano Corrado on there, and it's like just holding the reel. It is so unbelievably light. I love you. I was just killing them this fall with buzz baits, like just these monster casts, 7'7". Like these, I just like send them
launching it.
Oh, they're like so great because then you can put this bait so far away from you and then cover so much water.
Yeah,
and it's actually ironically buzz baits from a local maker from Klondike Custom Creations, like just. There was one day Sean and I were out there, and I got on a couple of good, just absolute slaunches. And Phoenix makes
that's awesome.
They make a really, and I mean, I like some really high end rods. Like I like the Arc Invoker stuff and the Tharp series, and I mean even the Cobb series. I have a bunch of those, and I love them. But yeah, I think there's something about Phoenix. It's nice stuff.
I was so. How I got my Phoenix that I fish with, it's Tennessee grip, Boron, I believe is what it is. It's a 6, I think it's a 6.6. But again, I was just kind of starting out. One of the guys from the pond. I mean, this is how good these guys are to me. Like, we all trade baits. We all trade lures. Like, hey, try this, try that.
Yep.
He gave me this rod one day, and he goes, hey, you need a better rod. Because I was fishing. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was fishing with like a Walmart 6-foot Berkeley.
Sure.
I was catching on them left and right, but I didn't know any better.
Yep.
And my buddy said, here, take this rod. And I said, this is a Phoenix. And he goes, I know. I go, y'all like talk about Phoenix. Like, this is like a prized possession. He goes, I want you to have it. I'm like, hey man, I can't take your rod. He's like, I want you to have it. I offered him money. He wouldn't take the money.
Yep.
And that is like so meaningful to me. And that's what I fish with all the time because it's like has so much meaning.
Definitely.
But I love the Tennessee grip on it. It's so light, like you said.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore it. And then I started hashtagging and tagging Phoenix all the time and became friends with the owner, Vince, what a solid dude that guy is. He's just awesome. And he's up in Northern California. The shop is about 20 minutes from me here in California. So love to support, someone from my home state.
Exactly.
And I am planning to go up and visit him when it's not bass season, because he's a pro bass guide as well.
Oh,
and I'm going to fish with him.
Nice.
So that's something that's on my bucket list too. But man, those rods, I was given a red eye, a Phoenix travel rod. And, back in the day when the travel restrictions weren't as odd as they are now, you could go on the plane with your travel rod being 32 inches. But now I think the maximum length is 22 inches.
Yep.
So this one breaks down into 3 pieces, and I have to actually pack it in my suitcase.
Yep.
Leave all the makeup at home. I have to leave all the cute clothes at home because my tackle, my rod, and my reel are way more important than any of that crap. I'm like weighing it on the scale every time I go to Oklahoma. I'm like, dang it, there goes the round brush. Dang it, there goes the hairspray. I'm like, Holly, I need some stuff. But I've been fishing with this red eye when I go to Oklahoma, and I don't bring it to Michigan because my brother has some really legit, G Loomis. He's got some good setups there, so I don't bother. But man, this red eye, I love it. It's fantastic. I've just had the best time catching smallmouth and largemouth on it, and it's been a really, really good thing. I'm hoping my buddy doesn't ask for it back because it was a loaner, and I keep trying to give it back to him, another guy, and he's like, no, you can hold on to it. I'm not using it. And I was like, okay, I'll take it everywhere. I'll take care of it. It's like, I treat it like it's my baby, so it's well taken care of, but hopefully, hopefully I don't have to give it back anytime soon because I got some travel plans coming up.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So I got one question left. It is a 2-parter. I'm sure that you've heard how this works. I need 2 stories from you, Coley. I need first story is the moment that you're most proud of on the water. Maybe it may not even relate to fishing directly, but something that may have happened where you're just maybe you were able to turn a situation around or something, but whatever happened on the water that you're most proud of. And if it's a PB, awesome. If it's not and you want to share your PB, you're more than welcome to. The other story is quite a bit different, and it's a little bit harder to answer, mainly because everybody has so many of these stories. It's hard to pick just one sort of type moment. You know what I mean? Everybody's got an abundance of those, probably in 1 year.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. My best moment that I think was I was out on my buddy's boat, Greg and Gregory. They're the friends that I fish with, and we were out on our home lake, Lake Paris, and we had gone out several different times that year. We were going out about every other week. Yep. And I was catching. I was doing pretty good. I was drop shotting. I was wacky rig, and Texas rig was really killing it for me that day. And we were out in front of, there was a swim beach on this lake because you can have other personal watercraft out there. So we were in front of the swim beach, a lot of boaters out. It's a hot summer day. I mean, I think I was fishing in a bathing suit because it was 107 degrees and hadn't caught a whole lot. When it's that hot, it's really hard. And I wasn't going to give up. And my boater, Greg, he was kind of teasing me a little bit because he had caught a couple and I hadn't caught any yet. I wasn't giving up. I didn't say anything. I didn't let it get me down. I'm like, doesn't matter because I'm out here in nature. I'm out here in the sunshine. I get to be doing what I love, even if I go home with nothing today. What a beautiful day. That was my mindset. And that's my mindset most days. So I cast out and I'm doing just a little bit of the drop and fall. I rise it up a little bit and then I let it fall, right? Doing that little bit of motion. All of a sudden I get hit with a freight train under the water. And I'm a pretty excitable person. I'll just let you know that I have a lot of energy, like I said before. And the guys at the pond used to tease me because everybody knew when I caught a fish because I'm not quiet. But I thought to myself, okay, this is a big one. You cannot lose your ish right now. You have to maintain it. You have to control. And I started reeling in and it's taking my drag. And I said, Greg, get the net. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I got a good one on. He's like, no, you don't. He's like, you're hooked on some seaweed. You don't know what you know. Giving me some crap, right? And his little 5-year-old, he's like, Coley, you got a fish? Let me reel it in. I'm like, son, you're not touching this fish. Just stand back and watch mama work. So I get this sucker up to the boat, and I can see her. And for me, I haven't really caught anything astronomically huge. I catch good fish and
Sure.
good fish consistently.
Yeah.
But I saw this head and I saw this mouth and I was like, good God, if you lose your mind right now, you're going to lose this fish and you're never going to hear the end of it. And they're going to talk crap about you for the rest of your fishing life. So I got it. He got down there. He got the net. I maintained it. I didn't freak out. I didn't overreel. All the things were going through my head where my rod tip needed to be, whatever. And I landed a beauty. And I'll tell you what, she was 1 ounce shy of 5 pounds. But I didn't even care that I couldn't call it 5 pounds. She was 4 pounds, 15 ounces. And I loved Big Bertha like you have no idea. I was grinning from ear to ear.
Awesome.
I wanted to hug her. I did kiss her. I absolutely kissed her. I kiss all my big fish. I don't know if you've seen any of my posts, but I do like to kiss me and my largemouth bass all the time. And I didn't get overexcited. I didn't jump around. I didn't break my line. And that moment right there told me, okay, you know how to keep your composure. You don't have to be this little ding dong out here yelling and screaming every time you get a big one on. And from that moment on, inside, I'm a 12-year-old little girl jumping up and down and screaming.
Absolutely.
But I've been able to maintain that, and that was big for me because I'm very loud and I'm very excitable and fun and goofy. So the fact that I was able to hold on to that, and man, that was a great day for me. That was February of last year, and that was just that was awesome. And then my sad story, I'm fishing in the same spot on the same boat with the same guys, Greg and Gregory, and Gregory that day was being a little pill. So he was on my last nerve. And it was like, he's good. He's 5 and he fishes. And if you saw this kid cast, you'd be blown away.
Yeah.
Daddy's been teaching him, he can pitch, he can do it all. Just hadn't caught anything yet. And he was getting bored and wanted to play games and wanted me to build him a fort. And so I did all that. And I was like, hey man, you got to let me fish for just a minute. Like just give Coley a few minutes. And he's like, okay, Coley, I'll let you fish. But he's always right next to me. So if I go to set, it's like his little monkey head is always right next to me because he wants to stand by me. So I was like, okay, I got this. And we're fishing in front of the beach. And again, it's about 30 feet. And I think I got another Texas rig on there because that's what was working for me with a thin Senko. And again, and there's boaters around. We had a boat next to us. They had been fishing next to us and they were laughing because Greg and I, it's like the Heckle and Jekyll show, if you remember who those two crows were. But it's like constant back and forth. He's like, I'm fishing with a girl. And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately, the girl just outfished him today. So it sucks to be him. So it was just this kind of show we were putting on. So they were fishing next to us. Yeah. And then there was a family in a boat that was wakeboarding and, how you guys doing? Everyone's super friendly. All of a sudden, that freight train that hit me before, holy smokes, that man. This was a bigger freight train. And this thing came and hit me so hard, it startled me. And I jumped and I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, keep your ish together because you got people watching you. You got a little boy watching you. You can't lose it in front of Greg because, oh my God, he's never
It'll be the end of it. Yeah.
So, I mean, my arm, my shoulder, I fished left-handed. My shoulder was just on fire. This thing was screaming. And I was like, oh, dear Jesus, please let me keep my cool. Please let me keep my cool. I got this thing all the way, maybe like 10 feet to the boat. And I'm fighting her. Greg's yelling at me, hold her still. And I'm like, please let me get this. She breaches and I see that bucket mouth come out of the water with my lure just barely in her lip. And I was like, oh dear Jesus, please let me keep this fish. So Greg gets a little, how do I describe him? He gets a little anxious. And kind of likes to grate on my last nerve, and his kid was already on my last nerve that day. So he was trying to get the net and he went to go underneath me and he was in my way. I can't see my fish. I like to see my fish. That's how I like to bring them in. I like to see where they are. I like to control them. I like to know which direction they're going. I like to predict. His big old head blocked my view. And I pulled the dumbest, most regrettable rookie move you can imagine. He got in front of me and was in my way, and I lifted my rod tip up. And when I did that, she came out of the water, she looked at me, and she spit out my bait right in my face. Swam off. Now, I got the family to my left. they were cheering. Yeah, get it. Oh my God, I saw it. It's huge. I got the 2 voters that have been around us all morning long listening to the Smack Talking show, right? And they're like, yeah, girl, you got this. People on the beach are jumping. That's how big this fish was.
Yeah.
Now, Greg says it was like probably 12 pounds, but he likes to exaggerate a little bit. I'm going to say it was a solid 10 plus, but again, I don't know because I've never held a 10 plus in my hand.
Yep.
But at that moment, I had all these eyes on me, and I had this beautiful 5-year-old little boy that looked up to me. And I had to make sure that I didn't come off as a sore loser, that I didn't use any bad curse words. Being a bartender, I have a tendency to use a couple not clean words. There's one in particular that I like a lot when I'm fishing, so I was trying really hard. And I took a deep breath, and I said, well, at least I got to see her. And everyone was like, oh, man, that's such a bummer. It was such a beauty. And I kind of sat there and I dropped to my knees for a minute and I put my head down and I thought, you know what? Got myself back up. And Gregory goes, the 5-year-old, what are you doing, Coley? I said, I'm going to catch her again. He goes, what? I go, I'm not done. I'm going to catch her again. He's like, but you just lost the fish that was bigger than me. And I said, it's okay. I'm going to catch her again.
Yeah. And
I did not let it get to me the rest of the day. And I remember that moment because normally I get pretty discouraged about things prior to my fishing life. I would get kind of bummed out if I didn't do the best at my job, if I wasn't, the best performer, whatever it was. And I thought to myself, this here's a lesson right here, not only for myself, but for this young man who's, a young angler, plus this family over here that's got their kids out here wakeboarding. They're watching me. And I thought, you know what? If all I can do today is hold my head up high and say, wow, I got to see a beautiful fish and I almost got her. That's okay with me. And then from that moment on, I don't get too bummed out. Like, I kind of laugh about it. Mm-hmm. But Christmas night, after 2 hours, the first bite I got all night long, I felt something fall on my chest and I looked down and my hoop earring popped out. Because, you got to wear your hoop earrings when you're fishing.
Of course. And
I looked down at it and I got the only hit of the night and I missed the damn fish. But you know what? I just laughed. Yeah. I was like, typical. But you know what? I got to be outside. I got to enjoy what I do the most in life and being in nature and fishing and just the smell of the outdoors. You can't ask for anything more than that. And that's how I'm going to take every single day from now on.
And it's you make a really interesting point. Like, a lot of it does come down to perspective. And if you look at it like this, you completed the hardest part of catching that fish. You got it on the hook. I got her. That's the hard part. Reeling them back to the boat and everything, that's mechanics. There's things that can go wrong, obviously. You're talking about a wild animal on, in some cases, especially finesse fishing, a tiny piece of wire, between you and that fish. And, it's like you got it on the hook. Like, that's got to count for something. You know what I mean?
And I was fishing with 6-pound fluorocarbon that day. Like, I was like, please, dear Lord, don't let it break. But, I only have myself to blame because it was a rookie move. I allowed somebody else to get in my head and I allowed somebody else to what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think, to second guess myself. I allowed somebody else to second guess myself. And I was being courteous because he was in my way. And I was like, here, go under, not even thinking that I have this beautiful behemoth on the end of my 6-pound test. But you know what? I'll catch her again.
You will.
And this season with my torn tendon, it really took me out I think I've been out for almost 8 weeks. And that hurt because that was fall bass season. And that hurt quite a bit and not having my buddy's boat down here. But you know what? It's all good. Like, I'm looking forward to January. I'll get out there in the freezing cold. I'll do my best. And next year I'll do even better. And I have so much growth and so much knowledge. And I reach out to people and ask them all the time, like, hey, what's that guy in Michigan? I didn't even know him that well. I think it's Jaybird Outdoors. I think it is. He's in Saginaw. And it's like maybe 2 hours from where I fish at. And I hit him up before my Michigan trip. And I'm like, hey, man, can you give me some pointers on like what to throw? Like, this is a different body of water for me. The dude legit gave me colors that go with natural, go with this, go with that. And they worked. I hit up Chris from Thurman Outdoor Things when I went to Oklahoma the first time. I'm like, hey, I know you don't know me that well, but I'm headed out to Oklahoma. What colors are good? And he's like, oh, black and blue do great. Guess what? Black and blue killed it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's been awesome, and that's kind of a big step for me too, because I don't like to ask people for anything.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
haven't been real big on asking for help in the past because, hotshot bartender, I think I know it all, but come to find out I don't.
Exactly.
So it's been really cool and humbling, and I've made so many friends. It's been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to see what happens next year.
That's awesome, Coley. Well, having you on the show has been amazing. I don't have to edit squat from this show. This was fantastic. Here's what I do need from you though. I'm going to use you on our artwork for this episode. So if you have a picture with an absolute giant, something that you really love, send it over. Just DM it to me, and what I'll do is I'll take that and we'll put it into our artwork and everything. But this was absolutely awesome.
Really?
Yeah,
Thank you.
this was
I was
really
nervous,
great.
even though you ratted me out this morning.
Oh, I totally did. I'm glad I got to find out about the whole snort sister thing. I mean, it's like
I just snorted right now too. You totally ratted me out. I'm like, there goes my street cred. Damn it.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. This show is just it's all a good time. How far away from Vegas are you?
I can get there in about 4 hours.
I'm gonna be in Vegas in February. And I'm working a convention, and I'm going to try to find some place to fish locally.
I can look around for you. Lake Mead is it Lake Mead that's out there?
Yeah.
There's a couple good
I don't know that I'm going to make it
there.
I don't know that I'm going to make it that far away from Vegas, but I'm going to look around and see what I can put together. But if I'm ever headed out to California, I'm going to hit you up and we're going to fish. We're going to catch those 10 or 12s.
There's a lake that's only about an hour and 20 minutes away from me. That, I mean, if you have a chance to go hit up and follow Ben, what is his name on there? Ben Lloyd. And I'll DM it to you. He's my buddy from the pond, and he's part of the Fish Elite team. And I've never seen so many big fish come out of one place in my entire life. And this kid, I fished with him at the pond. I didn't know he was as big and as well known of a fisherman as he is, because we're just pond fishing, right?
Yeah, you don't even think about that.
One of my really good friends, like I really look up to him, and holy crap, the monsters that they're pulling out of this lake are insane. So if you ever get out here, we can go rent a boat.
Let's do it.
They rent them there. I think it's $175. I don't do it by myself just because it's such a big lake and you don't have cell service.
Yeah.
So unless I can get someone to come with me, like I've been tempted to go, but it's not smart. Like, I hate to say it, but being a girl out on a giant lake that I don't know that well by myself with no cell service, like, it's not the smartest thing for me to do. So, but we can go do that. And I tell you what, man, there's monsters out there. I mean, go check him out, and I'll send you his page, and you're going to be blown away. Like, huge monster, 10 pounders, 12 pounders, and left and right, holding up 5 at a time. Like, it's insane.
That's awesome.
So that would be awesome. I would love to meet up with you any day. Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah, that's what I'm all about. I'm just trying to create those memories. Like we gave it our best effort on Champlain. My father and I went out. Best fishing day of our lives. It was amazing. And in fact, it's so funny because, and I've shared this story on the show before, he's never fished with artificial bait and had any real luck. He's a live bait guy through and through. He caught a 5-fish bag that he would have been close to the money if he didn't land in the money in any of the local tournaments up that way. And he did it all on one single Ned rig. One single Ned rig. One plastic. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm determined to get it to work for me, but it just...
Well, I was thinking about that, and you were talking about how when you caught that big one, you were fishing a Texas rig, right?
Yeah.
Do you peg your Texas rig weights with a bobber stopper or a toothpick or anything? No? Okay, so think about it like this. When you're fishing with a Ned, that's basically what you're doing. It's a jig without a skirt is really all it is.
Okay.
You're basically just fishing a soft plastic, and especially if you can find EWG, although California, you guys have lead restriction, right?
I think so, but we have the EWGs.
Yeah, so if you can get your hands on them, I'm not sure if you're restricted to tungsten or anything or whatever, but the EWG.
No, we can. I use tungsten.
Oh, you can use that. All right.
I'm pro staff for Woo Tungsten.
Okay, so I don't know that they do an EWG yet, I've got a couple of tungsten ones that do. They're so tiny, but they're great. They're awesome, and really, you kind of fish them the same way. Like it's you can do anything with it, just like with a jig. I mean, you can swim a jig, you can bounce a jig off the bottom, you can drag it. I have actually even fished a Ned rig, almost like a jerkbait, where I'll let it fall about midway in the water column. I'll pop it in my general direction, reel up fast, and then pop it again. And I've gotten big bites that way.
I haven't done that.
Yeah, it's just about with any, honestly, any presentation, mix it up no matter what. Like before you cut it off, mix it up.
And that's what I've been trying to do. But again, like I got to get out of this mindset. I'm in this mindset where I try something new and I give it an hour because let's say the conditions are really, really great. I don't want to miss catching on a drop shot when I'm practicing this. When I'm in Oklahoma, like, oh my gosh, like I only have, 3.5 days to fish.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to fill it up. With like learning a jerkbait or something.
With learning, because it's like, I never really traveled a whole lot, but now I got the bug and all I want to do, like everyone wants to do these big fancy trips. I'm like, no, man, I really want to go like travel the Midwest and fish. They're like, what? I'm like, I want to travel the United States and fish. Like I grew up, my dad had a small plane growing up. So we went back to West Virginia and Ohio every other summer to visit family. And I got to see some of the parts of the states that most people don't get to see. And man, like my heart is in the country. Like I'm a city girl, but my heart as I get older is in the country. And I miss those hot Ohio nights, chasing after fireflies and picking boysenberries by the side of the road to go home and make jam. Like that was our thing. I definitely want to try some different things. And it's just, I got to dedicate a day when I can just practice. And obviously I got to heal because with some of the larger lures that I was throwing, because what was I throwing the other day? I was throwing a blade. I was throwing a blade and I was kind of doing the jerk motion, and man, that really wasn't good for my elbow. No. And it was a bummer because everyone was catching on that, and I did it for about half an hour, and I'm like, okay, I got to stop. Like, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna dedicate some more time. It's gonna be tougher because this year I'm working, where last year, COVID, I just had the kids, so I was able to fish every single day.
It's a hard adjustment too.
Yeah.
It sucks.
That's my peace of mind. That's what keeps me sane, is being able to get out on the water and not being out for, I think I snuck out 3 times in 7 weeks. And I'm like, don't tell my doctor, but my doctor follows me. So he always catches me.
Nice.
Yeah. One of them catches me. The other one, if she knew the acupuncture, so I'd get in a lot of trouble if she knew.
Oh, there you go. Well, this was awesome.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. It's been a lot of fun, and you made it to where I wasn't nervous, so I appreciate that.
Awesome. I'm glad. Well, you're going to be on next Tuesday. This episode will drop then, and no idea what we're going to talk about beforehand or anything, but I'll edit this segment down, and you'll be good to go. So just whenever you've got, whenever you settle on whatever picture that you want to use for the artwork, just DM it over to me, and I'll use that.
And then I'm going to take a quick screenshot. So smile. Ready? 1. Hold on, my finger's in the way. 1, 2, cheese. Did it go? Yeah. Okay, I think I got it.
Awesome, Coley.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate you so much. Great getting to know you too. I was just intimidated. You got this big burly voice, and you're like so whatever, popular or whatever. I didn't know if I was going to be able to match up to your expectations.
Oh no, you're awesome. This is all about I've had guests on before that this was like the first year they were fishing, and then I've had other guests where they've been at it, for decades, and so this show is something that's for everybody,
Right on.
Awesome. All right, well, take care. My wife and kids got back, so I will talk to you soon. Okay. Take care.
Have a wonderful day.
All righty, bye-bye. All righty, guys. This was a great episode of Jigs and Bigs. I think we really kind of took this year, 2022, and we sort of elevated it just a little bit. And I don't know if anybody is... well, first off, that was an amazing interview with Coley. Great getting to know her. Did not realize that she was such an accomplished baker. And I love the fact that when I hit her with the, what are you bringing to the party? When someone says, just bring a dessert, that she had like a menu ready to go. So she hits multiple notes. I love that shit. Can totally appreciate that. I married a baker. I get it. Bakers are built differently. It's like, it's a good thing. But I feel like we're starting the show on the right foot. And if you follow the show on Instagram, you may have seen that I put up a post just this morning. I feel like 2021, we sort of allowed you guys to at least start getting to know Bobby Roastbeef and Sean the Fisherman, not just his fishermen, but his people. And in 2022, we plan on continuing that and showcasing some of the stuff that makes us who we are. Items that maybe are what I would call Western Mass famous in a way. Highlights. I think this is going to play in actually really well on our little field trip when we do the 100th episode. I think that could be very, very well. Maybe just get a caravan of cars to go by with like high beams on and hazard lights like a funeral. We'll go by the old Bernie's HOT store and, maybe we'll grab a pizza at Leone's or something. And, we'll find Keith Lipinski and we'll just... I don't know.
Oh my God.
We'll just stop by and visit, But
I'll have to bring 40s to dump out in the Cumberland Farms parking lot or the Pride parking lot where Bernie's used to be, because that's one for our homie.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. So I had put up this post today and I said, because one thing, there's nothing that divides people more on this entire planet. Nothing that divides people more than asking them one of three questions. And I hit them with all three. How do you take your steak? How do you like your toast? And how do you take your coffee? And we got a slew of comments, people getting in on all sorts of different levels. I'll tell you, very few people like to go over a medium on their steak on our list. Lots of people right in the middle there with toast. I like to go a little bit more well on my toast. I like a little crunch, but Fish and Grubs actually had left a comment that I think is amazing. He goes, "This is way too complex to me to answer with text." And my response was exactly this. I was like, I definitely understand that, man. I said, for me, it's especially difficult with the toast. What's the type of bread? Is there accompaniment going on? What is it that's going on with that? But generally, if I'm going to do dry toast, I'm assuming that there's going to be some type of an egg with it. And I want it to be a little bit more especially in the picture, they were showing like straight up white bread. I want some crunch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if we're talking like a cinnamon raisin, different animal. Whole other animal.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't do that shit.
Yep.
And
English muffin.
With some of the stuff I have to eat due to dietary restraints, and I have to go with alternatives to bread. That's a whole different monster, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Whole different.
Oh,
Sometimes some of that shit you get out of the package as bread, and it's consistency of toast.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up. I don't know.
But I thought it was very, very interesting. I put a 1 or a 2 for my steak. That's primarily going to depend on the cut, the marbling, the type of beef, all that other stuff, and the preparation just in general. I, for the most part, am looking for as rare as possible. For toast, there was a scale of 1 to 6, 1 being not toasted, 6 being burnt completely. I put a 4 to a 5. Generally, I'll err a little bit more on the side of a 5. And then A through F for coffee choices. A being black, F being toasted milk. And I went with A, black. Black coffee all day. To me, it almost doesn't matter what the coffee drink is, whether it's an Americano, whether it's drip coffee, whether it's sock water from Dunkin' Donuts. It's going to be black.
Sock water.
Yeah.
Shit water.
Sock water. Disgusting. And I think your Sean were a little bit more kind of in the middle. I think you put medium for your steak. I think you did 3,
Yep.
3 and C.
I like my red meat medium.
Yep.
The toast, again, that is I'm with Todd on this one. That toast is not easy.
It's tough to answer.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I just threw that one in there. It was like, all right, fine, that one's good. And then the coffee, I will drink anywhere. What I put C on coffee?
I think you put C on coffee.
Yeah, so that's with some milk, but there was it A and B? A was black, B was a little splash of milk, and
Yep.
C was You could tell there's milk in there.
I would call C being like a step below regular. And any of our Massachusetts listeners know what I'm saying when I say regular.
Yeah, I'll drink
regular.
A, B, or C. I don't want my coffee too whitened. I mean, dude, I drink government coffee when deployed. You know what that shit is?
Chicory.
No, it's when like when your kids don't pick up the dog shit all winter and then you go out and walk and then you dry that shit off your boots. That's what that coffee is.
Yeah. Nasty.
I did that for years. It's awful. And so like Dunkin' is actually a treat. Yeah.
In comparison, yeah. In prisons, I believe their coffee is coffee and chicory. Chicory root is often used to substitute with coffee for cost. You know, it makes sense. But in Louisiana, coffee and chicory is a staple. Cafe Du Monde is one of my favorite things to brew every once in a while. It's super rich. It's just great. And, you know, when the day finally comes and I'm able to head down to the Big Easy and fish with Largemouth Sass and Joseph and Charlie and everybody down there, you better believe that we're ending our day stuffing our faces full of beignets and drinking chicory coffee at Cafe Du Monde. I mean, it's just going to happen.
And speaking of Sass, I went ahead and sent her the pictures that I took and doctored of my sister's dog over Christmas.
That's right.
So instead of the infamous largemouth Sass fishing picture, close up, and then the fish saying harder as it's being squeezed, I got a picture of my sister's dog who they've adopted from a relative. And that dog is a mutt. Chihuahua. What was he? He was Chihuahua.
Does he have a little Boston in there?
I think so. Or pug. No, Chihuahua, pug, and something else. He's like the unholy trinity of yip dogs.
Of yip dogs, yeah.
And he looked right at me, and I looked at him, and his name's Rocco. I looked right at Rocco, and he just gave me a derp face. So I took a picture of it, and then I blew it up once, and I blew it up twice. And the second time I blew it up, I simply put derp on his face and sent it to Sass, and she got a laugh out of it.
Hell yeah.
You're welcome, Megan. Merry Christmas.
I love it. I freaking love it. So I would say overall, this is a pretty damn good show. I mean, we had ourselves a good little chat. You know, your boy ended the year with the little yellow perch that could. And I started the year with a nice little pickerel as well. Wow. That is a frightening image right there. See, folks, this is why you need to become a jighead and join over on Patreon so you get to see what's going on over here.
What was the asshole from Star Trek The Next Generation that had that fucking visor thing like Cyclops?
LeVar Burton's character. What was his name?
What was his name? Fuckface? Fuckface Magoo?
Fuckface Magoo. LeVar Burton. Hang on. I got to Google this now. I can't remember that. It wasn't Data.
I love this. I love this time of year when we're not fishing and we definitely have a lot of information to pass to people, but like when we're fishing, I'm all energized. I'm like, man, guess what I did this week? I've been listening to these shows, man. I was excited. Listen what I did this week. I caught fish. We got to talk about fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're just in the middle of Shitsville, and here I am making funny faces and making you laugh. Here we are.
Star Trek The Next Generation. Lieutenant Commander.
Fuckface Magoo.
Oh, come on. It doesn't say what he played. LeVar Burton.
Was that the dude from Reading Rainbow?
Yes.
It was, huh?
Take a look. It's in a book. Lieutenant Commander Geordie LaForge. He was LaForge.
It's fucking LaForge. Like from Mallrats.
Yes,
LaForge. Yeah. I heard he's even got 2 kills.
LaForge, that's all good call.
It always comes around.
Mallrats is so. Let's just get this out of the way. I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
My God, are we saving? Are we doing this at the end of the show? You want to save it for next week, or are we just saying fuck it?
Let's just do it. Let's. We'll have this discussion, and then we'll continue this further. We'll see what the response is. We're both fans of Kevin Smith.
Yes.
What's your favorite Kevin Smith film?
I think for depth. Chasing Amy.
Okay.
Like it's got some just nuggets in there of wisdom that are just phenomenal. I know people are saying Kevin Smith movie like that, but yeah, I think Chasing Amy. And then I think just favorite to watch Mallrats, and it also led to my one and only celebrity crush because Claire Forlani is the most gorgeous woman in the world in 1995 or whenever that came out.
Claire Forlani
There you go.
plays.
Not Jason Lee. Not Jason Lee was with Shannon. What's her name from
Yes,
Beverly Hills?
Shannon Doherty.
The other one. Yeah, not Shannon Doherty. The other one.
Oh, yeah.
Claire
Gotcha.
Forlani.
Gotcha.
Claire Forlani, 1995 was a vintage year there.
I am with you. I think that of the ones he's known for, I agree 100%. I think that Chasing Amy has some comedic moments that are great, but they're real subtle. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That movie is very dialogue driven. I'm a big fan of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I'm a huge fan of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but I feel like that was almost like a tipping point for him where he kind of started to become a parody of himself in a way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was super popular to where people who weren't in on the joke from the get-go.
From the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. It was popular. It's good. I mean, he made a ton of money doing it, but like
one of my favorite scenes of any film ever was when Jason Lee is he's having a conversation with a little kid at the train station. And he says the line, "Then Black Beauty wanted to do a little bit of mounting of his own."
Yeah.
The first time I heard that, I remember as a group of friends, we rented that, and I went back and I was like, "What?" And it was like the joke that summer that just would not end. I would just mention it like in conversation, like people would be walking by. That movie came out when I was in college. I would be in the elevator on my way to class, and it would be myself and Jim. And you're gonna get to meet Jimmy soon, and you'll understand where this goes this way. But those elevator doors would open like without missing a beat. Like I would have a newspaper in my hands, and I'd be like, and then Black Beauty decided to do a little bit of mounting of his own. Like the person coming in the elevator would have this look like. Oh, it was magic. It was magic.
There's a ton of fantastic catchphrases and one-liners in all those movies, but like I said, for fun, I'm a Mallrats guy because it's just fun and stupid.
It is so fun.
There's a ton of stars in that movie, and
Hartford, the whale.
Yep. Exactly. So, yeah, even though Clerks is the first, but it's a little rough around the edges, and there's some great stuff in there. I mean, to the point where, I mean, what was it, that Force Awakens, that Star Wars Force Awakens, that there's a scene that's based off of Clerks when Harrison Ford and Chewbacca ask him what he did, God, what's the dude's name? What's the actor's name that played Finn? I forgot his fucking name.
Oh, I can't remember.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They're on the planet and they're asking him what he did, and he goes, well, I was sanitation. Which goes back to the old Clerks jokes of, do you think your average stormtrooper can install a toilet main? And yes, they can. That question was finally answered.
Indeed,
the only good thing that came out of that movie was that we now know your average stormtrooper can install a toilet main.
I was in sanitation. There is a picture of my oldest daughter, Chloe, and I in front of the original Quick Stop. I'm going to share it. I'm going to share it on Jigs and Bigs so you guys can see it. We're standing in front of the original Quick Stop. This was the very first like family vacation that we had taken where it was all four of us because at the time Holly was pregnant with Delaney. And we had gone to the zoo in Philadelphia. My wife picks the weirdest cities to go to to recreate. Philly, Buffalo. Like seriously, like
Buffalo?
Yeah, Buffalo. Well, she has some cousins in Buffalo that live up there, so we went, visited them and stuff like that, and it was, it was what it was. We had a great time, we turned, dude. We've gone to Chicopee and had a great time. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing. We can have a great time anywhere we go. It doesn't matter. But when we went on the way back, like the trip in Philly was not great. Like she wasn't feeling great, and I said, I'll tell you what. Why don't we duck out of here a little bit early? We'll go and we'll hit. She wanted to go to another amazing city, Camden, New Jersey. She wanted to go to the aquarium in Camden. And we had a great time. It was a whole lot of fun. visited the aquarium, and then we took the long way home and went up into Leonardo, where the Quick Stop is, and it was cool. You know, I mean, getting some pictures there with Chloe. She had no clue. Like, what someday she's gonna watch Clerks with me, and it'll be fun.
My kids are probably at that point. They've watched some 80s movies that do not hold up well today, and
yeah,
I've had to explain with context, like, hey, this stuff isn't,
yeah.
The world has changed. This stuff isn't as, considered comedy anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I think they could handle Clerks. They'll have a laugh at it.
They definitely will. Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think so. I think she'll definitely get it. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. But, I'm going to share that. So, yeah, for me, Clerks is definitely one, but I'm with you. Mallrats, I 100%. I love Mallrats. It's just so fun. So good. Yep. Did you watch it on ABC when it ran on television and they censored it?
No. I thought were you talking about the cartoon?
No, the film.
No, I'm not watching a censored version of that ever.
It was hilarious.
Oh, it was even worse.
Oh yeah,
it was just
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just at the time. Oh, and the Clerks, the Clerks cartoon, I was god awful.
Yeah,
it was terrible. Nice idea.
I mean,
but
still to this day, I mean, I think the most quoted line from Clerks that I still to this day repeat, and I've mentioned this on the show before, is with customer service. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I'll come across an implausible scenario of something going on in a store, and especially if my brother's with me, I'll just look at him and I'll go, "What do you mean there's no ice for this coffee? You mean I got to drink it hot?" And he'll usually respond, "Yeah, do you have hubcaps for a '79 Pinto? Ooh, mini trucking magazine."
So, the other night, it was last Wednesday night, I was on my way into trivia, and I go in, and there's a sign up on the door of the bar, and it says, "Bar open, kitchen closed." I'm like, huh. So they had just had a bunch of staff that was out. So no kitchen open. So like all my teams that had showed up, I think I had like a dozen teams in there. They're all like ordering pizzas and grinders and stuff like that and having it delivered to the bar. And, so it was good. It worked out. We had a full house, but there was just no functioning kitchen in the bar. They made do. It was great. I go in, and I forget who the bartender was that was working, but I knew from the week previous that she was supposed to be out of town, and her flight had gotten canceled. Like her flight it was great. So she's like, I'm just done. I've been trying to go to take this trip for a bunch of, this is like the second or third time we've tried to get it done. So we're just going to pull the plug and hopefully we're going to get our money back. We have, insurance and everything. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, so you mean you weren't even on today, right? Huh? And she's like, no. And I said, huh, you mean to tell me that you're not even supposed to be here today? And then like somebody in the back of the bar in the other room was like, ha! Nice. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm still relevant. Somebody still gets it. Oh, good stuff. So, guys, like I had mentioned in the intro to the show, we're going to go out on a different kind of song tonight. We're going to play this one in honor of Betty White. Thanks for everything that you've given us over the years, Betty. We appreciate you. And I eventually will get over the fact that you decided to pass 24 hours after I completed my Dead Celebrities round for 2021. We will miss you. Guys, have yourself a good one out there. Remember, Chronic Trips is ongoing right now, and it's a 60-dayer. So if you have an opportunity to get out there and get some fish, download that Fishing Chaos app and search for Chronic Trips. Join the tournament, have some fun, make the most of it, win some prizes. We'll see you guys when we see it. Take good care of yourselves, everybody. Be safe, and as always, tight line.
Picture it, Sicily, 1920. Thank you for being